debate, Uncut and After Show. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe. Hit the bell notification icon and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth debate. If you would like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they premiere, and there's also a Coffee, Patreon, Crypto and Thanks button in the info box below the video. Speaking of Patreons, I'm going to do a quick shout out to all of you who do support me on Patreon. So, a massive shout of thanks and appreciation to BG, Survive the Spin, FE Patriot, Steve, On the Level, Thomas van der Zander, Gary Hughes, Measured Flat, Chris Wouters, Sensual Goat, Mitch Kennedy, Rod, the name's Burley, Todd Wazzle, Jason Hornsby, Christoph Fournier, Flat Earth Travolta, JMels24, Unimento, Iron26, Endless, Goldie McKinnon, Retro Bill, Level Plain Poem, Michael Kahn, John Kays, Patrick Gunnels, Banter, Mel B. Styles, Hairy Blade, Mobile Mac 777, Rob W., Del West Watson, Unbelievable Productions, Blue Ridge Ranger, Abraham Mohammed, Skeptic 936, Texas Mike, Chow Cat, David Wayne Foster, and Dank. So another massive thank you to all of you for supporting me on Patreon. Now I'll hand across to whoever's in Discord and Google so you can enjoy their dulcet tones while I set up for today's live show.
As a flat earther, what does that mean?
Have to do with flat Earth. I guess the point would be is that I try to get the idea, and I try to get the facts to get to the shortest and simplest and truest answer that I can give people, so that we can move on. You know.
Yeah, but you see, people are number one indoctrinated, and two, are not ready to accept the fact that they're being lied to, which means that they are willing to appeal to authority and beg the question with the authority. So long as they're going to do that, there's nothing you can do. But as far as you're concerned, you're focused on the wrong things, because the people that are indoctrinated get fed how to think. And what are they thinking about? They're thinking about the South. Why? Everyone here already knows objectively that the earth measures flat.
Yes. Yeah. The conversation that we had after Huey did leave, it turned out pretty decent. India had a few good points about the overlap of star trails, and he showed me a demonstration on that video app, and we started getting into like how they preload their answer into their question, and it just kind of went back into yeah, you need the flat Earth to globe. It's that easy. Because it always comes back to flat. It's not hard. Like, it's not hard to see the flat part, but it's hard for them to accept it.
Isn't that funny? It's hard for them to accept it, and they never see the globe, but you always see the flat.
I mean, I always see the flat. I can't help it, but by now.
I'm going over a bridge right now, looking at a huge body of water. All I see is flat.
True.
Hey, Neil, you in New York?
Yeah, I'm going over the, what do you call it, Throgs Neck Bridge right now. What a freaking sight.
You got
Flat
Uber,
as
right?
can be. What's that?
You got Uber, right?
No.
Is that a possibility?
To get Uber?
Mm-hmm. Well, how many
Well, I'm
days
doing
how many days do you spend in New York City?
I try to do 3 weeks here and go home for about a week or 10 days
Okay, so
and
you're
come
here
back.
for
But
you're here for work
I'm here
already.
almost a month now.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Uber's a good way to for some extra cash. It's like literally the only stable app that I know about that you can make $300 in a day.
Yeah, I used to do Uber. When they did the background check, they just shut my freaking app down.
Yeah, that's the only thing. No, that's the only thing about it.
After driving for like almost a year, then I went to go on, boom, it was off. So I guess the felony charges kicked in.
Sorry to hear that. I'm glad you're getting to it, doing well. I posted this Neil
brought up.
deGrasse
Freaking
Tyson show. I
depressing,
don't know if
man.
Nathan wanted to. I'm sorry.
Eli, it's like a heaviness in the city, the Bronx. The Yankees suck, man. You can't
Hmm.
freaking beat the Dodgers one game.
It's not the same. The new generation has to be fully indoctrinated. Too many people alive or awake, but they don't want to do anything, so they're like complacent. They know something is wrong, but it's not real. They don't have any fight left in them. That's what you're seeing.
Yeah, it's very heavy victim card play lately. Like Witsit with his whole, hurt puppy, catty bee kind of dichotomy. Though I did like that stuff with the star trails and admitting my confusion. I'm not gonna lie, like it's hard. It's not hard to bring it up, even among flat
But
earthers anymore.
the only time the only think about this. The only time you'll ever be confused is if there is no definitive answer. Once you
Correct.
understand that, people who are trying to get you to make sense out of things that you just don't have the tool set for, you'll be more at ease.
I
Yeah,
get it.
that's disturbing. Why? Sorry, you should never be in confusion. It's just measured flat.
Well,
Yep.
I was just gonna say, it's actually never mind for a minute. I'll think about how to say
Ju-
it.
just keep in mind that the world never made sense. Like I'll go back to what Nathan was saying about he would watch a Vsauce video or some super sciencey video because we were all into that kind of stuff, right? And after all those videos, guess what? You're left with more questions thinking, damn, am I ever going to find out before I die? Because this stuff takes hundreds and thousands of years. That's the feeling you're left with. This fake idea where it's like, oh, now we can figure it out to replace what we figured out. We never had shit figured out. You're filling
Glory of the
nothing with
cosmos.
nothing.
But Eli, there was nothing to figure out. I mean, it's laid out clear biblically what we're on and where we are and what we're doing.
Right.
The last thing I want to do is be ammo for the Globers, I guess, is the end all of that, of the whole being timid to bring up points that probably at least need to be talked about. Like, at least we
You
need
know how
to
you
have
become
something on.
ammo?
Hold on, Eli. He's in the middle
I
of
don't
that
want to
thought.
be
He
fodder.
was pausing to get this thought together. Just let him get through it. Go ahead, Adam.
Sorry.
I'm sorry. I was just, it's, even as a flat earther, even as a guy who can see through a lot of BS, you know, they don't stop with their BS. And if there is some that I can't step around, that's what they'll focus on for the next 3 or 4 months. That's what I notice. It's just another formula in our flat Earth arena.
Go through that again.
If I say something that stumps me or trips me up, then that is what they'll focus on for 6 months. And
I just don't talk to them.
Did yeah.
Go ahead, go, my bad. I'm done.
So that's the see, this is sometimes having a conversation with someone is for naught. Like sometimes there's no conclusion. It depends on the person you're talking to. You're not going to walk up to someone you know who's mentally impaired and try to make sense of what they're telling you is the case. But we go up to other people because we see them as normal. And the reality is they have a mental disability like most people. When I say mental disability is because they've mentally disabled themselves from not committing logical fallacies. Because if we point it out and say, hey, this is a logical fallacy, they'll say, no, it's not. They say, I don't care. What difference does it make? So the problem is engaging with people who seem normal and who seem well intentioned, but the conversation is going to lead to nowhere. And you want that not to happen, but that's not possible. That's part of reality.
Decent point.
Those things used to happen to me, like in the beginning. Like they would come with something that you didn't have an answer for. But once I came here and started listening to what's going on here, and then everything progressed. Black swan, celestial navigation, Earth measured flat. We're the ones that are stumping them.
And you can tell they're like cornered, because they're just kind of lashing out and trying to play possum. It's weird.
On it. Don't you hear what Nathan's got them? They can't go one way or the other. We got them boxed in. There's no room for them. They're done.
What's an example, Adam, of like something that the Glober stumps you with and then stays on it for 6 months? Like what kind of, do you have like an example?
For me, it always comes down to I turn everything into a small chunk. You know what I mean? So if we are, if I'm, let me think of an example. But this is what's gonna happen. Okay, it's just what happens. Somebody shows me a picture of star trails, whether or not they've been doctored. I'm like, okay, what am I looking at? And then this part in me where this like ghost of cognitive dissonance comes in, and it's like, well, I don't blame them for, thinking, oh, that's messed up, and they sense it, and that's what they'll jump on.
What's messed up though? I don't get it.
Like see, like the equator, right? And the stars go straight over, and then you've got two concurrent circles coming in from either side. You know what I mean? Like it looks like a basketball, but inside out.
That's that thing my son talks about. The two separate.
You're roboting, but yes.
But if you're in Nevada or somewhere like that, like you can see all the apparent motions, right? And it's not like it all appears like it goes in the same direction. So the answer is there is no answer, because you said yourself, what am I looking at? Did they give you an answer? And how did they validate it?
No, the answer is all eyes in the
No,
east and set
Neil,
in
I
the
just asked
west.
him. I just asked him a question.
I I don't know how to explain what I'm looking at, I guess is the big thing, because everything that I can explain always defaults back to globe.
No, it doesn't, because I'm asking
But then
you.
it does.
When you said you don't know how, so you tell me how. That's what I'm asking you. What did they tell you?
How?
It's
What do they
almost
tell me?
taking.
They don't. Honestly, this one is not even a tell me. This isn't a tell me outside of like they'll show me a picture and be like, "Well, what do you think about this?" And like, I can't if I can't give them the the if I can't give them something more solid, then like, how do you measure
And
to
they're going
that?
to stay religious and believe in what they came in the conversation believing?
Yeah, he's saying therefore globe comes after that pause or hesitancy or
Exactly.
inability to explain it. That therefore globe, right, Adam?
For them, it's always there for globe.
There you
Yeah.
go.
And I'm not trying to trip us up, to be honest. And that's why if I have to, I will sit on something like, I don't know how a stair trial
No,
works.
no,
For
but
like 6
pay
months.
attention. Pay attention though. The question is, why is it tripping you up?
Too much empathy.
Because I don't live in the South, I think would be the big thing. Is you work with what you can, and usually you add what you know. All I know is that I see, and it was a point that was brought up,
What
that
is
I don't
living in?
see
Okay,
star
I'm sorry.
trials. I
Slow down
see,
again, because
Yeah, I was going to ask the same question. What does living in the South have to do with this?
Mhm. Just trying to imagine what stars do as you leave the, I guess, pole star, I guess would be my point.
I'm still no
But
clearer.
they do make arcs and not circles for me, and that's true.
They do for me too. What do you mean?
Like,
What
I
does that
don't
have
see
to
the
do
whole
with Earth,
sky.
though?
I don't know that we see it and we're on Earth.
Yeah, Earth is measured flat.
No, you're not hearing him. Adam's saying, even when you offer that to somebody, if he's being asked a very specific, nuanced question about, let's just say, stars in the South, specifically, if he doesn't have a good enough answer for them, by their standards, therefore globe. And that's grating.
Right.
Fair enough.
Again, something that I don't want to add to their fuel. You know what I mean? Even if we do take away their wood piece by piece, I don't want to add another one.
Well, no, by the sound of things, you're dealing with zealotry, though, aren't you? If everything's
Yes.
therefore globe, if there's... I don't know why that is the case. Well, therefore globe. Okay, on your way, zealot.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's my own rinse and repeat, because I mean, what am I supposed to do outside of just wait until they ask something stupid again?
Yeah, but see, Nathan, when my son throws that at me, I just bring him to Earth is measured. We're standing on is flat.
Yeah, well, Adam's saying sometimes that doesn't satisfy a globe zealot. And he'd be right.
Well, too bad then. You show me, then show me your globe, not a star rotation. Show me your globe. Show me your curve. Show me your measurements.
That was brought up too, how simulations don't really work as well, or work for what we're dealing with, as a ball in a, I guess, in a 360 field of stars. Because I mean, even honestly, like, wouldn't one have to go the other way? oh jeez, this is going to be supposing a globe. I don't even want to talk
My,
about it. But
my question to you is, what does this have to do with whether the Earth is flat or not?
again, I can't explain what it has to
I don't
do
want you
with
to. I
the Earth
don't. I don't
being
want you to. I want you to focus on trying to confirm to me and yourself what this thing that's causing this angst within you has to do with the Earth measuring flat or being. I'm
To be
challenging
honest, for
you
me, it
to
doesn't.
try to come up with an answer.
I think I am trying.
Take your time, man. Think about it.
It all just keeps coming back to what up with that?
So, so then the fact that the Earth measures flat doesn't matter. Then it's inconsequential to you because you're confused about this thing about the stars. It could still be a globe. Is that where you're at?
No, I always have it back to how'd you measure to it? Where is the ground
But
allowed to
that
bend
doesn't.
underneath it? Like, yeah, I know how to get back to flat. I just can't keep my head in the stars and make any sense of it.
I don't know. It's not back to flat to me. It's you never left flat. Always on flat. It's not back flat. Don't let them put you on a ball. My son constantly tries to put me on a ball.
I hear you. I don't know. It's something that will be probably, now that I've mentioned it at all, it's probably going to come back around. So I guess we'll learn more together.
See, that's what John refracted was always, you know, that was his driving home point. That measurements, you can't argue with measurements because it's just a measurement and it holds true.
Calculating a globe violates the original measurement. If they try and put you on a globe, okay, where'd your globe come from? And as soon as you get it back to its origin of flat Earth measurements, okay, you can't take a measurement of something that's flat and then use that flat measurement to claim that it's curving.
Yeah, I got that part. And that's the only part that really matters. I know that too.
I
I
know what he's
mean,
talking about because
their
my
their
son
their map
constantly
of
does that.
the. But
Neil and Eli.
anyone
Sorry,
who.
Eli.
Neil and Eli.
Let me just tell you, he constantly gives me that and then says, until you give me an answer, then there's a globe. You can't give me an answer for 2 points in the sky. So it's a globe. Okay, off you go. It's measure that though.
2 points in the sky and an antipodal assumption.
Correct.
Well, who cares? So what? If I can't explain why you assume there's an antipodal point below me in the sky, below me and in the sky, I'm thinking no.
But that's exactly what they're doing to Adam.
You just have to point that out. His brain's not wired that way, Neil. He doesn't assume It's already travelling antipodal. There's no assumption. That's how it is. Of course I'm travelling to the bottom of a ball to see this antipodal point in the sky below me. No, you're not. You're travelling antipodal. You're assuming that you're travelling antipodal. Yeah, if you're wired that way, then it's not an assumption anymore, is it? Oh, well, of course I'm going to travel to the bottom of a ball. We're on a ball. The very definition of begging the question.
It puts cartoons in your head, and it's a cartoon I can't really get out of my head.
I guess you just have to have an appreciation for it. For me, when Math Marlon was talking about flat Earth, I had my journeys across the surface of the plane in my head as he was saying it. They flashed before me, and I'm like, yeah, I've experienced the world. I've flown across a great chunk of it. It's all flat. But given that I know what I've experienced, it wasn't easy, it wasn't difficult to rewire how I experience it versus how it's told to be and how that's incompatible.
I guess a big part of this would be trying to reconcile the imaginary with the practical, and practically it will always be flat. I can dig that. Imaginary in imagination land, it gets muddy.
Do any of you have a video you wanted to cover on the live show today? I'll take that as a no.
I thought I lost perception.
No. No, that's fair enough if no one's got anything they want to cover.
Good morning. Good morning.
Morning.
Hey, good afternoon, guys.
Hello.
Pretty quiet in here. A lot of people. Nobody talking. All righty.
Brushing my teeth.
Well, if we get back to my son, what's driving him crazy now is that he knows Earth is measured flat. He can't get around that. And I see it's gnawing away at him because he has a freaking belief system.
He also has the knowledge. He said he knows it's flat, measured flat. So he also has the knowledge.
Well, he knows he can't reconcile it. Don't work on a globe, but he knows that when you do measurements, it's measured flat. He knows you can't get an elevation angle from a curved surface. He knows all these things, but it's like his wiring is it's like shorting out, malfunctioning.
Yeah. But that's a big step if you know it's measured. It's already, already in it. You'll come around, Neil, don't worry.
mush in here? Not yet.
Sometimes I feel bad for him because I could see the wheels turning, you know.
Nathan, did you say something, bro? I'm right here.
I'm just checking if you've got a video that you wanted to cover. That was all.
I'm actually just looking right now. Candace Owens proves the anti-woke to flat Earth pipeline is real, whatever that is. 9,500 views. Sandoral, 91,000 subscribers. This might be political, but he does mention flat Earth in the title.
Yeah,
It's a
stick it.
32-minute long video. I'll just stick it in the Skype.
Brilliant.
It
Thank
may
you.
not be. Yeah.
Marvelous. Thank you very much. Get it up shortly. Hey, 10th.
Hey, can you hear me?
I can, but you're causing feedback. I know it's stopped now.
How about now?
Yeah, it seems fine. Hello, how are you?
Good, doing good. How's your mouth? I hear you had a tooth issue.
I still have. It's very painful.
Well, you got medicine for it?
Got antibiotics.
Okay. Is it a root nerve or is it just other things as well as that?
No, it's just got an infection, and it's obviously been there for a long time because it's rotted some of my skull, which has caused
Oh,
one of my
boy.
teeth to be wiggly. So
Mm-hmm.
hopefully it'll mend itself. If not, I might lose that tooth.
Gotcha. Well, I've got a present if you'd like me to do it today on the show.
Yeah,
It's
great.
the second presentation in the series of AI presentations.
Do you want to get straight into it?
No, I want to save it for a live show, but let me make sure I could show it to you. So I've got to share screen.
Literally just queued up a video to cover, but fine. We'll do both, if that's okay by you.
10th man takes precedence.
Well, let me see if I'm doing this right. I just want to start broadcast. Tell me if you see.
Hold on a sec. New moon. Did you want to add something?
Hi. Hi, Nathan. How are you doing? Like, what happened to your tooth?
Nothing. It just started hurting about a month ago, and I went to the dentist and they told me I needed a couple of fillings. So they did the fillings, but didn't actually address the infection. So it's just got worse and worse and worse. That's what's happened. There you go.
So, are you trying to get a root canal or you just want to extract the tooth?
I don't want to do either.
But if there is an infection and the last option is to remove it. Otherwise, if you are feeling pain and sensitivity, then there is no other option, I guess, other than cleaning it and cleaning it again and again, going through the process. It's better to remove it.
Yeah, exactly. I'll just keep going through that process, salt rinses and all that sort of stuff till the infection goes away. And of course, the penicillin will hopefully deal with it. Second type of antibiotic. Anyway, this isn't much fun to talk about. Yes, I can see it, 10th.
So you see the
Right.
main screen
And
before I get.
Nathan, do you know that? Like, I'm not happy to say about that, but like, since Jiren started talking about the final experiment and his position, he lost about, like, he was having about 1,64,000 subs that time when he started talking about it, and now he have 1,62,000. Like, I was watching his stats, YouTube stats. So, like, even if he got 2,000 subscribers in last 6 months, like he lost 4,000. So like people are unsubscribing him because of his position, like because he's just saying like if there is a 24-hour sun, then I have to go to, like I have to again take the position that the Earth is a globe because I don't have any other option. So people are, I don't know why he's just want to satisfy these things. It's not right. I'm not happy for that. I think like we should change his view. Like he cannot say like 10 years back I was saying like the earth is flat because of this model. That was past thing 10 years back. So I think he need to understand and he need to. Globers are not going to help him.
Well, they only have a belief also, so they're going to confirm their belief.
Yeah, and I also remember like when Jiren was debating McToon last year. Then McToon just asked Jiren, "Hey, what evidence can satisfy you that the Earth is a globe?" Then he never said like 24 hours, and he just said, "If I can go to the outer space and watch the Earth by my own eyes, watching the whole Earth in empty vacuum, then I can believe that the Earth is a globe. Otherwise, there's no way."
Wow.
Yeah, I have that clip, but I am not showing
Pretty
it to
telling,
Jiren
isn't it?
because like yeah, like, uh, because like I become a flat earther, like honestly watching Jaren's videos. But now he's taking the position and everyone going against him. It's not worthy. He needs to change his position. The true position he is heard saying, not what will he want him to say or the Globers want him to say.
So he doesn't even understand gas pressure without containment. Then he's lost.
No. McToon was asking him, like, what can satisfy you that the Earth is globe? Then he said, if someone like put me in a rocket and I'm going to outer space and then watching the Earth, there's outer space and there's a globe, Earth is a globe, like
Yeah, like I said, he
hanging in
doesn't
a vacuum,
understand
then I
gas
will
pressure
believe.
without
Yeah,
containment.
Well, not necessarily. Not
yeah,
necessarily. He might be saying in the same way if someone said to me, "What would prove Narnia is real to you?" and I said, "If I could go through the wardrobe and visit Narnia." Now, Jaren's response sounds like it's, "If I could go to space and see the Earth as a ball, then I'd be satisfied it's a ball."
So Nathan, just so I make sure everything's working right, you see the first slide?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to hit the second slide. Tell me if it changes.
No.
It didn't change?
And now it did. Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, that all works. It's changed back now. Good, good.
So this is a presentation with AI again, which I'll be doing a series of them on different topics relating to our channel.
Eli, can you mute?
Sorry, you loading up the good old Call of Duty. Didn't mean to do that on the. Sorry. Hey, Sense, man.
Hey, how you doing? Good. I'm answering the Call of Duty.
Excellent, man. Love you to pieces.
Thank you, man.
You just spent $50 on a video game, right?
No, Call of Duty Mobile. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
So this presentation, so you guys have a little uptick on it, is on the Osborne firefinder and its operational use. Anybody heard of it?
One more time.
Can't say I have.
Osborne firefinder and its operational use. Has anybody heard of it?
I do believe so. Is this something for spotting where there's going to be forest fires from a vantage?
Yes.
Yes, I do know this.
Yes. Well, it is the brother of the sextant, the sister of the bubble sextant.
I almost did a presentation on this when I found a video
Really?
about it recently. How intriguing. Anyway.
Wow. Yeah, it's a pretty interesting crossover, but the same thing. All the same constraints that we do with elevation angles and horizontal plane of references, topographic maps.
I am sure
Everything.
I shared that video. Did you? Are you sure you didn't get this from me?
No, I didn't get it from you because what happened was I was listening to a guy talk, and he said he worked in the forestry service, and he showed a picture of the actual device.
The big
And I
fat
looked
chart,
at it.
the big chart with the pole across it.
Well, it's got two, and it's got tape, and it's got a circular map covered with glass.
Yeah, this is a great flat Earth proof, isn't it?
Oh my gosh!
This is brilliant.
Wait till you see the work I put into it. Oh my gosh!
I'm glad you did,
because
I obviously this was very recently that I saw this, so I'm not suggesting for 1 second that you got this and then boshed together.
You know when I saw it? I saw it just a few days ago, Sunday.
Okay. Well, I did actually, by coincidence.
That's the first time I ever saw it.
Fair enough. I had actually shared that video in Masterbeat a couple of weeks ago, or however long it was. It was fairly recently. Great minds, wonderful stuff.
Awesome. I'm glad that you did at least make reference to it and show it, because this is now going to be a very detailed examination of it and cross-examining AI for the juicy nuggets we get from them.
Okay, for my audience's benefit, there's dudes that sit out and look for forest fires, and when they spot them, they need to know exactly where they are in a very densely forest-populated, tree-populated area. Obviously, there's no direct paths to any of these locations, so they need a very accurate way of knowing exactly where this is, so they can direct whatever, a plane or, if necessary, ground firemen to this point to stop this fire from spreading, right? So they've got this giant table with a chart on it that they can accurately pinpoint from their location up in a tower where in, I don't know what the radius was. What's the viewing distance? Can you remember?
I cover it all in the video.
Okay, fine.
In my presentation. So yeah, and then on top of what you're saying, there's multiple towers with multiple of these devices, and it's all based on the map scale they use, so that they can have a circle of equal altitude,
Right.
so they can cross.
Yeah, as soon as I saw that in the video, I'm like, this is ace. Yeah, Earth's flat, and this proves it.
Oh yeah, big time.
Yeah, I really
Big
liked
time.
it when I saw it the first time. I don't know why it slipped out of me. It's one of those things you see it, you think, this is epic. I'll share it with everyone. I'll do something on that. That's so good. And then you just completely forget.
Well, like I said, I saw it Sunday, and I said, "Oh my gosh, this is similar to celestial navigation, except doing it inland instead of at the ocean." And so I said, "I'm going to go look into this." Came home, started doing a very deep dive, and I said, "Oh, this is going to be a good present." So I put the other one that I wanted to show you aside just to finish this one.
It's quite an amazing looking tool as well. It's not often that you see something like that, and as they're using it, you go, wow, that actually looks really cool. The way they're, it's not small, is it?
It's really the same principle of an alidade, which has been around forever, which has been around on all kinds of navigation instruments, and it's for horizontal reference.
You got a picture?
Although this one has a bar that you can move up and down the scale, where the sight tube, where you put your eye to look through the sights, where you can do depression angles as well as elevation angles. But in the forestry service, where they just see smoke, they never use it for elevation. They just go for the horizontal distance.
Yeah, they want a linear distance. Again, that's one of the points that when I was watching it, I was thinking, right, well, this affirms every single thing we're doing when we describe celestial navigation. But again, there's a more immediate danger that's present in this particular example. Obviously, I can ham up celestial navigation. It'll save your life at sea. But because you successfully fulfill the process, it's kind of like nothing happened. But with this, there's more drama attached to it, which I really like. So I think this is going to be great. Have you got a picture on one of your slides, just so I can stick it up in the pre-show, so we can see?
Yeah, let me get you a picture. Let's try this one.
If I had chance, I'd scroll through Master B and find the video I shared a couple of weeks ago. But
No, try this one.
yeah, there you go. It's not a small device.
I liked it because it's consistent with measurements. It validates everything we've ever said about celestial navigation, but now you're using it inland and not using the horizon or the sea, but you're using the same consistency of how a measurement works out by referencing a horizontal plane.
Yeah, this is going to be great.
Oh, it's I'm so excited to share it because it is, no one after this could even attempt to make our celestial navigation argument look silly, because this only validates it even more.
But it's not that it's the practical application aspect of it that I liked, right?
But that's what I'm saying. Celestial navigation is practical. This is practical. Everything about measurements is practical.
Sure. But with celestial navigation, there's got to be a certain set of circumstances, admittedly life-threatening, that you're going to whip out your sextant, right? For the most part, you're just going to use the Mercator projection in your GPS machinery. Your trickery and your black boxes is going to do you perfectly satisfactorily for 99.9% of the time in the modern world. This is using that principle every step. There's no other step other than measuring flat Earth in this process, and it is life or death if they don't deal with this stuff quickly and efficiently.
Yep.
So you're like, so how do you get the quickest and efficient measurements of a flat Earth? Well, with this process. That's what I'm trying not to give too much of the game away before you go through it.
Oh no, it's okay. It's okay. We have this talk before and after. See, in this method, we're not really looking for an elevation angle, even though the tool could do that. They don't use it that way. They just use the horizontal plane, which is the eye-line horizon, just like in celestial navigation. It's the sensible horizon, where the guy's eye line creates a fictitious horizontal plane, and then that's got to be parallel with what the Earth is, or else it can't work. So this is the same thing, except it's a parallel from a tower at one of the highest peaks, so that you're able to see smoke through valleys and hills and mountain tops. And then you use a scale map that allows you to be able to coordinate with other towers. But I go into that a little bit deep too, because the instrument itself is horizontal plane. It's not limited to 20-mile or 10-mile range. It's true whatever distance. But the necessity for detail, they use a small. You starting the show?
No. Yeah, I'm changing the title just because I think it's worthy from the off to have this. The Osborne.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I thought you went.
No. I'm just, like I say, I'm just making sure because you've got it on screen. I can actually get the correct title for it.
All right. So yeah, just give me the cue, and I'll start it when you give me the cue. Once you start.
Yeah, we'll start. We'll go live in about 60 seconds or so. Osborne, right?
Yeah, Osborne, Osborne fire. It's named after the guy who took the alidate and repurposed it for spotting smoke from towers.
Awesome. Absolutely awesome.
Good morning.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. We've got a lot to get through today. So we've got a presentation today, and I've actually put it in the title. Typically, I don't know what we're going to do before we start the live show because we do them daily, and the title will emerge based on what we do in the live show. And today, that is not the case, as we do have 10th Man Rising with us, and as a result, somebody's off mute. Who's off mute? Somebody's off mute. Put yourselves on mute, please. Whoever.
Just me, I guess.
Probably you then. Put yourself on mute if you don't mind.
Well, I have to leave the screen. Hold on.
Oh, sheesh. Doing a presentation from a mobile phone. Great start to the live show. Anyway.
But, go on.
We've got a lot to get through. So we did have a response video to some of Amber... I was about to say Amber Heard. I don't know why I was about to say Amber Heard. Candace Owens detractors. video that we have got queued up. But in the meantime, we're actually going to transition across to 10th Man Rising, who has a presentation on the name of the video, which is the Osborne Firefinder, which is an absolutely epic flat Earth proof. And like minds, great minds think alike. And this is something that I looked at a couple of weeks back, maybe longer. I can't remember exactly how long ago, and shared on one of the Skype feeds. Probably somebody watching it, maybe, I don't know. But 10th Man's come back with it and obviously given it a lot more consideration than I did and done a full presentation on it. So I'm going to do something that I don't typically do after doing all my call to actions in the pre-show, in the intro. Do a share now. If you're not typically doing shares, smash the share button and stick it out on Facebook and YouTube. I know I've already done this once in the intro, but this is one of those video presentations that you're going to want to share with other people. Oh my God, who is off mute? I'm nearly done. I just want to do a decent intro. It's second interruption. Whoever's off mute, please can you put you 10th?
Yeah, I can't stop it because I will lose everything.
Okay, I'll hand over to you, 10th. I've tried to give you a good intro. You've caused the failure, so it's your own fault. But over to you. This is the presentation on the Osborne Firefinder. Go ahead.
No, what you're hearing is the heater, and I just turned it off, but it's on the lag, so it hasn't turned off yet. So your system there is so good, it's picking up my heater, believe it or not, in the house.
Either way, one more time, share the show. Smash that share button. That's it. Go ahead.
All right. So this I saw on Sunday, and immediately, I knew what it was, but I'd never seen it before. And so I went and did research, and talking to Nathan today in the pre-show, he said he'd seen it a week or two ago. And I said, well, I just saw it on Sunday, and I knew exactly what I needed to do a big, deep dive in it and get a presentation going, because it obviously is flat Earth related. So here we go. This is the second presentation in a series of presentations with Perplexity AI. I will use illustrations and graphics, as well as a very detailed question and answer session with Perplexity AI search engine on the Osborne Firefinder and its operational use. 10th Man. So I pulled this up just from the internet, and it says the core job of the fire watcher and the entire reason lookouts exist is to spot fires and accurately and quickly relay the location. The number one tool for this task is the firefinder. Alidate, a sighting device or pointer for determining directions or measuring angles, used in surveying and formerly astronomy. The Osborne Firefinder, invented in the early 1900s, is a style of alidate most frequently used in lookout towers, at least here in Idaho. They are quite literally the centerpiece of each lookout tower. Dead center in the cab of each lookout is the podium with the Osborne lookout on top. So what is an alidate? So if we go to Webster's, a rule equipped with simple or telescopic sights and used for determination of direction, such as a part of an astrolabe or a part of surveying instrument consisting of the telescope and its attachments. To the right, an alidate is a measuring instrument of ancient origin that employs line of sight to determine the positional characteristics of a remote object in relation to the observer. Remember that. Application of the information obtained by this device has been and continues to be as varied as human ingenuity. At its most basic, it's simply a straight edge which can be rotated along a scale of any known defined choosing. One end of the straight edge represents the observer. The other end is moved to sight the object. The scale is read as a measurement of their relationship, much like the sextant, the navigator's zenith versus the zenith of the star and its GP in the same manner, basically. So here's a view of the inside of the cabin, and there it is right there on that table. And we're going to have other looks at it. So here's a few guys actually using it. You can see that it's a circular map. It's scaled. In each box represents a certain amount of miles over the Earth. And you can see the sight tube there with the peephole there to the right. And then at the end, you got your target with 2 horsehairs as the means of spotting the fire. And in the middle of this map is where the cabin or the lookout station is. So when you're looking at this map, the guys in that room are in the middle of this map. So they're like the GP and the circle of equal altitude is around them, if you follow. And here's
Yes.
some more pictures,
Well,
so you can see.
while you've got those
And
pictures up, just 1 second. What I'm going to do, 10th, actually, it was 2 months ago, not 2 weeks ago. I found the video. So, I assume it's one I've watched because it's got a red line underneath it. So what I'm going to do, because it's a shorts video, that's quite handy for me to just play briefly. Bear with me a second.
Sure.
Use an Osborne firefinder to find a smoke. Step 1. Did you find a new smoke? Check. Step 2. Did you line up the crosshairs of the firefinder with the smoke? Check.
Perfect. So now you can see it on screen. Nice pretty picture of him with it in front of him to give you an idea of how big it is.
Step 3. Did you figure out your azimuth or the angle of your lookout to the fire? Check.
Okay, I'm going to leave it there because that's pretty much where 10th's got to. Goodbye, you 10th?
Yeah, I've seen this video already. Very good. Very good. Among like 10 others, but yeah, I saw that one too. All right, so you can see here, you also got to know that it's a 360, much like a compass, and it's always set to north. So as you do the azimuth, just like in celestial navigation with the direction of the star or sun, you're going to know on the compass heading the same way as it's done here. Here's another view of it. This is really nice because that top view on the right picture, you got to realize you're right there in the middle of that, and you can just turn around and cover all that forest area. And if you see smoke, you just turn it around. But the whole unit is set to north, so you're referencing north and a horizontal plane. I took the liberty of showing a few towers so you can see the variety of them, but they're all over. Shall we begin?
Yes.
AI, describe how an Osborne firefinder instrument works. The Osborne firefinder is a traditional tool used in fire lookout towers to locate wildfires. It consists of a circular map centered on the tower's location with a rotating sighting arm that can turn 360 degrees. Here's how it works. Alignment, lookouts aligned sighting arm for smoke using crosshairs. Azimuth reading, the arms point to a degree on the map's perimeter, indicating the azimuth direction of the smoke. Distance estimation, a metal tape measures the distance on the map, which is converted to real-world distance using map scale. Real world. Triangulation, bearings from multiple towers can be used to triangulate the fire's exact location. What are the main components, AI, of the Osborne firefinder? Answer. Topographic map positioned on the horizontal plane centered on the device. Circular rim graduated in degrees measuring for azimuths. That's direction, by the way. Sighting apertures, 2 sights mounted on the opposite sides of the ring for alignment with smoke. Glass top table supports the map, allows for precise sighting and measurement. Graduated azimuth rim used for reading directional bearings accurately. How do you know in advance the exact miles in between different peaks and valleys? Circular topographical map. The exact distances between peaks and valleys on a circular topographic map are determined by using contour lines and map scales. Contour lines, these lines connect points of equal elevation, allowing you to visualize the terrain shape and elevation changes. Map scale. The scale translates map measurements to real world distances. 1 to 24,000 means 1 inch on the map equals 24,000 inches on the ground. Contour intervals. The vertical distance between contour lines helps calculate elevation differences and infer horizontal distance. So took the liberty to get some of these things on screen with images, and you can see here how the contour lines, because Earth has hills and valleys and everything else, but as you see at the bottom right, 0 meter contour line sea level. So they reference sea level, and then whatever it is based on sea level, they show you the elevation of the hills at different parts of the hill. And the next slide, I believe, will be more detailed. As you can see here, a gentle slope on the topographic map would have those ziggly lines, but wider apart, whereas a steep slope would have tighter lines. And you could see the elevation here on the side view. AI, what is the largest area in miles that this instrument can measure distance? The Osborne firefinder can measure distance using a metal tape scale on the map. The maximum area it can measure depends on the map scale used. For example, on the map with half-inch scale, the fire estimated to be 3 inches from the tower would be 6 miles away. Therefore, the largest area it can measure limited by the map's coverage and scale. Very important part here. Rather than the specific maximum distance inherent to the instrument itself. Should I read that again, Nathan?
You can, but I want to do another call to action because I don't know. Try and keep quiet. Just I know you can't mute. So this is a very important presentation. So ideally, if you are watching this live stream, first and foremost, I've put a link to the video, the shorts video, so you can let that guy know at Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me. But also, I want you to smash the share button for this show because this is going to be something that people will pick up on and go, "This is easy to understand. It's got a practical application." And I want people to understand how Earth is measured flat with this tool. So please share the show if you've not done so already. There's 66 people watching now, as we've not long begun. But let's get this number much, much higher. Let's get it well over 100 people watching today for this presentation. Yes, go over it again, 10th man. Please.
Therefore, the largest area it can measure is limited by the map's coverage and scale rather than a specific maximum distance inherent to the instrument itself. So then I say, AI, what are the limitations of the Osborne firefinder in measuring distance? It says there are several limitations in measuring distance. Map scale dependency. Accuracy is limited by the scale of the map used. Larger scale maps provide more detail but cover smaller areas. And that's the kind that the Forestry Service uses, maximum 20 miles, I think. But you can do other maps with smaller scale, and it's even more areas, but less detailed. Line of sight. Obstacles like terrain or structures can obstruct the line of sight, affect accuracy. Manual estimation. Distance estimation relies on manual measurement and local terrain knowledge, which can introduce errors. Obviously, the map has already been mapped, and those squares equal 2 miles. Each 1 inch was 2 miles. Limited range, the effective range is constrained by visibility of map coverage. All right, AI, what would be the largest distance on a small scale map? On a small scale map such as 1 to 1 million, 1 inch map represents approximately 16 miles on the ground. See, the ground position, the ground. Therefore, the largest distance that can be represented depends on the map's physical size. For example, if the map is 10 inches wide, it could theoretically represent up to 160 miles across. Remember that thing I read twice? That inherent to the device, the measurement is accurate, except for detail when you go to smaller maps? All right, AI, could the Osborne firefinder use such a map with such distances on a clear day? Meaning, the one that was 160 miles. The Osborne firefinder is not well suited for small scale maps that cover large distances, like those of 1 to 1 million scale. Such maps provide limited detail, making precise distance measurements challenging. The instrument is designed for more detailed maps typically used in fire lookouts, where accurate readings are crucial in locating fires within a manageable range, usually up to several miles. So what would be the maximum range? AI says the maximum range of the Osborne firefinder is typically limited by the scale of the map and visibility conditions. On the map with a half-inch scale, distances up to 6 miles can be measured accurately. However, practical limitations such as terrain, visibility, and map size generally restrict effective use to around 20 miles. All right, so let's look at a few things here that I put. Scales, showing you different scales. Now you can see this, 1 to 1.3 million, 1 to 16 million, 1 to 37 million, 1 to 94 million. So 1 inch is 94 million inches, right? All right. Remember it said that the device works no matter what? It's just how much detail you want. And you see in the lookout station in the forest fire, you want as much detail so they go real small, but they got multiple lookouts so they can have the circle of equal altitude and triangulation occur. But the device still works in large distances as well. So then I ask, then I would assume that other lookout towers intersect with each other to create cross sections, ? Similar to how circle of equal altitude overlap each other. Yes, lookout towers are a method similar to intersecting circles of equal altitude. When multiple towers observe the same smoke and determine its azimuth direction, they can use triangulation to pinpoint the fire's location. Each tower's line of sight acts as a radius from the circle centered on the tower. We know radius lines don't bend. The intersection of these lines help accurately locate the fire, much like how circles of equal altitude overlap to determine the position in celestial navigation. Well, I decided to do a search and pick up a few pictures online of how these towers are in various different locations in different parts of the United States. As you can see here, they're all in close proximity to each other so that they can have the overlap so they can triangulate. Because they're using a large scale map and they want more detail. Is this done by leveling the firefinder and representing a plane of reference parallel to the Earth's surface? ? AI answers yes. The Osborne firefinder is leveled to create a plane of reference parallel to the Earth's surface. This ensures accurate horizontal readings. The leveling process involves adjusting screws to the center of the bubble in the level 2 place in various azimuths around the instrument. The alignment helps maintain precision in locating fires by ensuring the map and sighting apparatus are properly oriented and stable. Then I ask, how do you ensure the firefinder remains level throughout the day? He says, morning check, regular monitoring, and prevent side play. So it's very important this thing is level, or it's not going to give you the right reading. What happens if the firefinder is not level, AI? If the Osborne firefinder is not level, it can lead to inaccurate horizontal angle readings. This misalignment affects the precision of locating fires, as the azimuth readings will be incorrect. Ensuring the instrument is level is crucial for accurate fire location, reporting, and effective triangulation with other lookout towers. And your mind is seeing the other lookout towers also have to be level. And since that circle crosses the other circle, then both circles are level. And when you add all the other lookout towers, everything is level. Everyone following?
And they're leveling it with respect to level.
Yes. Yes, that's what I mean.
one more call to action. I've just put a quick poll up for the audience, which was, did you share the show? Yes, I like sharing this top quality flat earth proving information, or no, I'd rather keep the top quality flat earth proving information just for myself. So just a bit of fun. The idea being to encourage you to actually hit the share button and smash it on Facebook or Twitter. Now X. Go ahead, Tenth.
All right, so we move on. What are the consequences of not leveling the firefinder daily? Inaccurate readings, operational errors, increased adjustment needs. So it's pretty much a prerequisite. This thing needs to be level, straight, flat, 0 degrees, so you can have a horizontal reference that doesn't change. What are the potential risks of using an unlevel firefinder in emergency situations? Inaccurate fire location. Misaligned readings can lead to inaccurate fire location, reporting, delaying response efforts, and potentially allowing fires to spread unchecked. Ineffective coordination. Inaccurate data can hinder the coordination between multiple lookout towers, complicating triangulation efforts necessary to precise fire pinpointing. Increased fire spread. Delays in accurately locating, responding to fires can result in rapid fire spread, especially under extreme fire danger conditions, increasing the potential of large-scale damage.
So this is
important.
Sorry to interrupt. Just to reiterate that to the audience, life and death stuff here, highly dangerous. That's the necessity for this to be done. Very important. Anyway, sorry to interject.
No, like mine. So it's a very important stuff. You better have it done right, or else people might die. All right. When the ranger looks through the firefinder sight hole and sees rising smoke, is he referencing that based on a horizontal line in the air above the earth below it? AI says, when the ranger looks through the Osborne firefinder sight hole, they align it with the smoke using crosshairs. The alignment is based on a horizontal plane parallel to the Earth's surface, ensuring accurate azimuth readings. The device allows for both horizontal and vertical angle measurements, but primarily focuses on horizontal bearings to determine the direction of the smoke relative to the lookout point. Well, here's a schematic of it, I guess. You can see at the base, it's got 2 long bars, and you can slide it left to right in the event there's a fire and one of the posts in the lookout tower is in your way. You can move it, it still stays level, and you could get through another window and not have that post get in your way. Then it's got the leveling screws at the bottom left, and then at the bottom right, it talked about those tracks where I told you about the sliding. And then it's got everything else, the sight, the hairs and all that they're used for the sighting, and the base map. And remember, tape for delineating line of sight. And you are right there in the middle in the tower of this map. So the lookout tower is in the middle of this map. Similar to how depression and elevation angles are measured then. AI says, yes, the ranger's reference to a horizontal line when using Osborne firefinder is similar to measuring angles of elevation and depression. The instrument aligns with the horizontal plane parallel to the Earth's surface, once again. Much like how angles of elevation and depression are measured from a horizontal line. Notice it didn't say curve, Earth. It ensures accurate readings of azimuths and bearings, which are crucial for determining direction and smoke of fires relative to observers' position.
We're all following. AI is telling you Earth is flat.
Indeed. So now I got this schematic from the actual PDF of this instrument, and it shows that top picture, a side orthographic view of the instrument and how the level horizontal line is right there. And because the tower is way up on a hill, and it's probably 50 feet or 109 feet even above the hill because they're built high, so you could see further, you can do a depression angle, you can do an elevation angle, but you got your horizontal plane of reference. And again, like they said earlier, in spotting smoke, as the bottom picture here shows the smoke in the distance, you're not really using the elevation depression angle element of this tool for fire location. You're just using the horizontal reference. So then we've seen this slide before when we've done celestial navigation, same concept here. But that horizontal line there that you see that differentiates an elevation angle and a depression angle, the Earth has to be parallel to that. 0 degrees, sea level. All right, so then I say, AI, since the circular map below serves as an accurate representation of distances in miles between hills, peaks, and valleys, corresponding to the distance of the smoke, would this be a correct understanding? Yes, 10th man. Your understanding is correct. The circular map on the Osborne firefinder accurately represents distances between geographical features like hills, peaks, and valleys. This allows user to estimate the distance to smoke by measuring the map distance using a metal tape and converting it based on map scale. All right, AI, how does this metal tape on the map aid in estimating fire distance? The metal tape on the Osborne firefinder aids in estimating distance by providing a direct measurement. A direct measurement from the lookout point to the observed smoke on the map. The tape is marked in inches, and when used with a map of known scale, 1/2 inch scale, it allows for quick conversion of map distance in real world distance. Direct measurement, real world distance. For instance, if the smoke is 3 inches away on the map, it corresponds to 6 miles on the ground with 1/2 inch scale map. Well, I found a video and I took some pictures of that tape, and this is what it looks like. And there's your scale in squares of the actual terrain. That's real world. And that's how they do it. All right, AI, what scale is typically used on maps with the metal tape? The typical map scale used in the Osborne firefinder metal tape is 1 to 24,000. This scale, commonly used in US topographic mapping, allows for detailed representation of terrain features and accurate distance measurements, where 1 inch on the map represents 2,000 feet on the ground. So you can see how the ranger would practice and know by the map if there was smoke coming beyond peak 1 and there's a valley between that peak to the other peak. He knows where that is on the map because it's a large scale map and it's very detailed. What features are typically omitted from smaller scale maps? So, the longer distances. On a smaller scale, which cover large geographic areas, certain features are typically omitted or generalized to maintain clarity, such as minor roads and streets, small water bodies, detailed topography, and buildings and infrastructure. So AI, then really whichever scale map is being referenced by the firefinder, the horizontal line of reference is always being referenced for accuracy. AI says, yes, regardless of the map scale used with the Osborne firefinder, the horizontal line of reference remains crucial for accuracy. The instrument is designed to maintain a level plane parallel to the Earth's surface, ensuring that azimuth readings are precise. This horizontal alignment is essential for accurately determining the direction and distance to smoke or fires, regardless of the map's scale. Isn't that wonderful, Nathan?
Yeah, fantastic.
Okay, yeah, much like how a bubble sextant uses a spirit level for reference from an airplane, right? AI says, yes, 10th man. The Osborne firefinder uses a horizontal reference similar to how a bubble sextant uses a spirit level in aviation. Both instruments establish a level plane for accurate measurements. The bubble sextant relies on the bubble to maintain this plane, crucial for navigation when the natural horizon isn't visible. Much like the firefinder ensures accurate azimuth readings by maintaining a level reference parallel to Earth's surface. Okay, AI, 0 degrees to 90 degrees gives a maximum of 5,400 nautical miles zenith distance over the Earth using the bubble sextant. What say you? And AI says the statement that 0 degrees to 90 degrees gives a maximum 5,400 nautical mile zenith distance over the Earth using a bubble sextant is correct, 10th man. This is because 1 degree of latitude corresponds to 60 nautical miles. Therefore, the distance from the equator to the pole is 90 times 60 equals 5,400 nautical miles. All right, referencing horizontal, right, AI? Oh, yeah, the bubble section uses a spirit level to maintain a horizontal reference, similar to how the Osborne firefinder maintains a level plane for accurate readings. The horizontal alignment is crucial for both instruments to ensure precise measurements, whether determining celestial altitudes, or azimuths on the ground. This is worth thinking about here. The horizontal alignment is crucial for both instruments to ensure precise measurements. So we got 5,400 nautical miles flat precise, and we've got 20 miles flat precise, because it's got to be parallel to the Earth's surface. All right, let's move on. So, what?
Go ahead, Adam.
Well, I was saying 10th year roboting for me. I don't know about everybody else.
I can't help it. I'm on my phone.
Not
Good morning. Good morning.
a criticism.
Okay, everyone can hold fire for the admin stuff till the presentation's done. It's only got a couple more minutes, I'm sure.
Yep. All right, so continuing on, sorry about the roboting. So in practice AI, any object or even smoke, as long as it's seen above this horizontal plane of reference from 0 to 90 degrees, can be measured in statute miles or nautical miles. He answers, in practice, using a bubble sextant or similar instrument, any object or smoke seen above the horizontal plane can be measured in terms of angular distance. This allows for calculations in both statute and nautical miles. The horizontal reference ensures accurate altitude measurements, which can then be converted to distances based on the observer's position and the object's angle above the horizon. Pretty interesting. The observer's position and the object's angle above the horizon. All right, so then AI, the Osborne firefinder, regardless of the scale of maps used, small or large, functions in the same way? Question mark? Yes, 10th man. The Osborne firefinder functions in the same way regardless of the map scale used, whether small or large. It maintains a consistent method for determining azimuth and estimating distances by aligning with a horizontal plane. I don't see Earth curve anywhere. Do you, Nathan?
There's been no mention of it thus far.
Okay. Well, for accuracy and for distances, it's horizontal plane. The map scale affects the level of detail and distance representation. But here we go. But the fundamental operation of the firefinder remains unchanged. I think that's a key point. Okay, AI, thank you. Can you please give me a concise, detailed summary of our conversation, highlighting all the main points? So he does. Osborne firefinder functionality. The Osborne firefinder used for locating fires, measuring azimuths from a lookout tower. It's typically leveled to create horizontal reference plane parallel to the Earth's surface. Maximum range and accuracy. The firefinder can accurately measure distances up to 20 miles, depending on visibility and terrain. Accurate readings rely on the instrument being level. Otherwise, it can lead to miscalculations of fire locations. Triangulation. Multiple lookout towers can intersect their azimuth readings, triangulate the exact location of smoke, of fire, similar to overlapping circles of equal altitudes. Map scale. The typical scale used is 1 inch to 24,000 inches, allowing for detailed terrain representation. Smaller scale maps omit features like minor roads and small water bodies or clarity. Measurement techniques. The metal tape on the map aids in estimating distance by providing direct measurements that can be converted based on the map scale. Direct measurements based on the map scale. The horizontal reference is crucial for accuracy in both the firefinder and the bubble sextant. Well, what do you know? General measurement principles. Any object smoke above the horizontal plane can be measured in angular distance, which can then be converted into statute or nautical miles. This summary encapsulates the main points discussed regarding the operation and principles behind the Osborne firefinder and its use of fire detection. This presentation is concluded. Thank you for watching 10th Man.
I'm going to let the guy give another brief summary on that shorts video, just his first like 25 seconds, because it's worthy of doing at this point, just for those who want a nice little accurate summary about exactly what we're talking about with a visual idea of what's going on.
This is how to use an Osborne firefinder to find a smoke. Step 1. Did you find a new smoke? Check. Step 2. Did you line up the crosshairs of the firefinder with the smoke?
This is what's being described if you've got multiple points by 10th in the summary.
Check. Step 3. Did you figure out your azimuth or the angle of your lookout to the fire? Check. Step 4. Did you radio the other lookouts in the area to see if they could see your smoke?
They're all generally following along. We might as well hear the last little bit, because I don't think we played it the first time around.
Check. If you're the only fire lookout who can see it, then you move on to the next step. Step 5. Did you use the detailed topo maps and your knowledge of the area to estimate the location of the fire? Check. It tells you the smoke has to lie somewhere exactly along this line on the map.
This flat map, leveled. How often did he say that they have to level it? Every single time they use it, or daily or something? Yep.
Daily.
So if
Daily.
you figure out a promising location for the smoke on your detailed topo map, you can cross-reference it with the firefinder. If the point that you pick lies somewhere exactly along this line, then you probably got it right. Step 6. Did you write up a detailed smoke report to send into dispatch? Check.
Okay, so that bit isn't necessarily useful for us, but nevertheless.
Once the fire is reported, you just keep an eye on it and let the office know if there's any sudden changes in its behavior. This is how to use an Osborne.
There you go. Thank you very much, 10th. As is always the case when we use a video in any response or such like, please let the videographer know at Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me. There is a link going by in the live stream chat right now. So if you are watching live, thank you very much to all of you. Smash the share button to encourage a few of you to join from further beyond our usual catchment, hopefully. A few of you have come along and heard at least part of that presentation. It is definitely a video, this live show, a video worthy of sharing. So, again, last but not by no means least, thanks very much, 10th Man. That was excellent. Thank you so much for putting that together.
You're welcome.
Awesome.
Good morning. Shout
Morning.
out, Tim. What's good?
Just the general presentation on the Osborne firefinder. Very good stuff.
Notice how when you are practical and you ask the right questions, AI is obliged to tell you how these things work, and AI is not triggered that the horizontal plane is being used to say level means curved. AI doesn't do that.
No, but 10th Man, can you ask AI a question for me?
Well, you can do it.
Are the
You got
Yankees ever
AI.
going to win a game?
You thought he had a serious question and you rumpus the joke.
Oh, I know. He's mad that his Yankees lost 3 games in a row.
I can't do much about that,
But
I'm
this
afraid, Neil.
presentation really encouraged me. I was so down.
AI is like anything else. It's garbage in and garbage out. So it's screening all the data that's given to it and then spitting it back out to you. It is the perfect example of garbage in and garbage out. It has no ulterior motive in this regard. It's just describing it in terms of the data that it's scraped in regards to this particular subject matter. And the data that it can and will have scraped is abundant. None of it's going to be referencing anything other than measuring and detailing and relaying information about a flat plane. Because that's what we are on.
Well, you remember the previous presentation in the series of presentations I'll be doing with AI. You have to ask him, I refer to him as a him, but we know it's a AI. But anyway, you have to ask him specific, detailed questions because the garbage comes out. And then in the last presentation, some garbage came out about the globe after AI told us how flat it was. And I had to repurpose the question and come around to catch him to where he corrected himself. And I find that AI does correct himself if it crosses logic and reasoning and measurements. If you bring in measurements with AI, he sticks to measurements. He says measurements are higher than calculations. Measurements are everything. So by practicing with AI, I avoid a lot of the garbage terms that a baller would normally throw in by realizing if I just ask the right way, even AI is going to pull measurement content rather than trying to say how horizontal is curving, which is nonsense.
Shout out to us so far for the super chat. He says, sounds like AI knows the Earth is flat, but will it admit it? Question mark. AI never says the Earth is flat, open brackets, even when, what's that word? Even when cornered. Even when cornered, it always resorts back to the globe. Yeah, I'd probably agree with you.
No, it does. It does. AI always has that garbage globe rhetoric. But then when you say, what's the fundamental reference frame? He says the equatorial plane. I go, is that a 180? He goes, yeah. And I go, so there's no curve. Yes, it just dies a real quick death.
Yeah, when it comes to actually detailing how it's functionally operating, everything's with respect to Earth being flat. The moment you suggest to an AI algorithm that's been scraping information to tell any participant when asked if Earth is flat that it isn't, it's just going to do that. It doesn't mean anything. It's just AI. It doesn't have feelings. It doesn't get tired. It doesn't feel pain. I'm trying to be Carl Reese. And it absolutely will not stop. Indeed. So, a couple...
It's true though what Tim said though. Like the AI doesn't have to sit there and figure out which word to use in order to not sound wrong and get called out by whoever he's debating.
Excellent
Just
point.
has to
Yes.
stay fact.
It's just going to take the data and represent it based on the question you've asked. And it's not going to read between the lines of an ulterior motive where we're going to take its words and present it to human beings to say, look, this is just how it's dealt with. When you're dealing with an opponent, because that's what this is, it's a back and forth between 10th and man. It's a battle of wits with a machine, which is great. But ultimately, it's just dealing with data. And it's going to regurgitate that data. If the majority of the data with respect to you asking it if Earth is a sphere or not is always coming back as a positive until it's having to be caught out, then you just have to catch it out. And then we are just dealing with a computerized baller. But in this instance, there's no ulterior motive. It's just answering questions about how Earth is measured. And it is measured flat. Again, props, 10th. Very good presentation.
Thank you. I had fun doing it.
We are going to cover a bit of a detractor after a shout out for a show later on this evening. So 6 p.m. UK time, because of the clocks going back here in the UK, and 1 p.m. the standard time, US Central that is Quantum Eraser's QE live stream. So be here or be sphere on the Quantum Eraser YouTube channel, as I say, 6 p.m. UK, 1 p.m. US Central, 8 a.m. Sydney Australian time. So check it out, and hopefully they'll be covering the ongoing saga with our resident flat earth grifter Witsit. So his expose I've already been privy to. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for going through it in a rehearsal. We did a full dress rehearsal. We don't often do that. QE, it's becoming more and more common that he likes to do a dress rehearsal before he actually does these shows. Gauge which bits need reacting to, gauge which bits he needs to shut us up on, as you do. Hello, QE. Good to have you.
Good morning.
Good morning. So yeah, be here or be sphere on the Quantum Eraser YouTube channel in a few hours from this live stream. So hopefully there's a link. I think Divergent Droid's been, yes, he has, spamming the chat with that link, so check it out.
Can't be a link yet. I didn't make a link.
It's just linked to the channel, I think. You haven't obviously published it as of yet for a live stream then. Fair enough. Either way, in a few hours it'll be up. I tend to only publish mine about an hour before I go live, to be fair.
Mine's an hour and a half.
Yeah. Because you don't know what's going to happen. If you schedule them too early and then something comes up, one of the beauties of, I know it's not necessarily the case for you, QE, but certainly for me, this is my job and obviously I want to keep a schedule. But one of the beauties of being self-employed is that if you happen to have a toothache, for example, you can go, I'm not working today, I'm just in too much pain. And you don't have to. And there's no boss to answer to, which is lovely. But it means that, you're best off not scheduling the shows well in advance. Some people schedule them well in advance, but not necessarily myself. Anyway, we have got a video to cover today, and we are going to cover it on this live stream, so I'm going to get straight into it before we run out of time. So this is one of Candace Owens' detractors, Xander. I can't reach it at this distance. My eyes are too blurry, man. I'm getting older. Xanderhal, I think I've said that correctly. So, as is always the case, when we respond, please let this gentleman know at Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me with a positive, polite comment, helping him along in the YouTube algorithm. Nothing too sweary, nothing that's going to get you immediately removed by the YouTube videographer either, or the YouTube bots for that matter. So please let him know at Nathan Oakley 1980, and that is spelt out exactly as I've said it, all one word with an @ Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me. And just let him know why, i.e. we've responded to your video. The idea being, if he was to do the same in return, he'd put a link to my video and help me along in the YouTube algorithm. Because in spite of probably a fair chunk, maybe 10 or 15 people smashing the share button, we're up to 90 amazing views for that presentation. Very disappointing. Please share the show. Thank you very much to all of you who did share the show. So it would have been lower than 90 if it wasn't for the people who did actually share the show. And I even did a poll to establish that several of you did actually hit the share button. But we don't get any YouTube algorithmic love, hence me having to do things like this, asking our sometimes detractors. In this case, it's a Candace Owens detractor. But either way, I'm green to this video. I don't know what he's going to say. So it's apparently Flat Earth. It's in the title. The video being called Candace Owens Proves the Anti-Woke to Flat Earth Pipeline is Real. Okay, great title. Anyway, please let him know at Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me with a polite comment that won't immediately get removed. Hopefully he'll do the same for me if he is to respond. So we'll get straight into it. Unless anybody else has got any preamble that they wanted to add to Xander Hall. No? Yep, no.
The shadowy cabal that they're referencing just always ends up being Jews.
I had him on
It just
double
always comes
speed.
back in.
Sorry, let's just sort that out.
Anti-Semitism, and for Candace Owens and her fans, of course it does. But in this case, we're not going to be focusing on that as much. It's mostly going to be about the fun of the conspiracies. And this conspiracy is that of the shape of the Earth. This is one of my guilty pleasures, by the way, is watching flat Earth debunk videos. Okay, it's literally
literally all you can find if you do a search for flat Earth.
One of my guilty pleasures. It's sort of in line with what I do to a degree, but I'm not a scientist. Like,
you're in a category error. What would
Sorry,
you?
Nathan.
Yeah, go ahead, Brian.
My guilty pleasures is putting in things like aircraft pitch data and annihilate the paradigm.
Why are you whispering?
Because I want them to have to listen in, Howard. It's an AMSR destruction of one of these.
I really want them to listen to this. It's very, very important.
I know the Earth is round. There are a lot of pretty fundamental observations.
That's an interesting turn of phrase. You know the Earth is round? Yeah, round and flat aren't mutually exclusive.
That prove the Earth is round, time zones, sunrise, sunset.
Right, sunrise and sunset are measured with respect to a flat plane.
Time zones? Are you serious?
I'm waiting for Brian. No,
Hands
Brian.
are wet. Sorry. Time zones, is he crazy? There's 32 time zones on his globe. And only one of his hemispheres is 19, I think. It's a joke. The guy hasn't got a clue about what he's talking about. He just in his first preamble there, he's told me everything. That he's like desperately seeking some kind of confirmation bias because he's in a huge amount of globe pain. And now he's bringing up things he doesn't even, he's never even researched. He's just thick. He's thick. You're thick, Sander, whoever. You're thick. You're a thick idiot. You're an unbelievably stupid thick idiot. Your level of intellect is so low that I wouldn't talk to you if you were the last person available to talk to you on earth.
Just tell him how you really feel. Don't sugarcoat it.
Did we both just say that at the same time?
Your mic's distorted. Your mic's going crazy. Chocolate. Yes, indeedy. In any event, we were discussing Mercator last night, actually. We were up till gone midnight, maybe 1 a.m. Originally, it was Brian, Adam, myself, Neil, and John refracted curvature, but that got whittled down to just myself, Brian, and Adam till 1 a.m. here in the UK, chatting about very specifically about Mercator, about the creation of the grid and the distortions that have occurred throughout history, which is very difficult to pin down. So hopefully I'm not stepping on any toes or going to get any backs up by saying this, because this is something that we potentially wouldn't necessarily deal with on a live stream because of the gaps in history that you I hate to be suggesting that we're conspiratorial in any way. We're not, but in order to discuss it, you have to read between the lines because there are plenty of them to read between and gaps in terms of how this has come to fruition. What we do know is in terms of the distortions of the time zones, Brian's just gone through it and then spent the majority of the time demeaning this Xander guy or whatever he's called. But fair enough, but it's just interesting, we do discuss these things behind the scenes because they are fascinating. It's not frustrating, but it's just one of those subjects that wouldn't necessarily get discussed to any great extent in terms of how that's come to be. The how and the why is shrouded in a lot of historic mystery. So therefore, it's stuff that out of preference for the treatment that we'd receive if we did speculate about it on a live stream, there's a good chance that we may phrase something incorrectly and then get taken as being conspiratards or, speculative idiots or whatever. It's like, well, hence it doesn't make it onto the live streams. But it's interesting that he's talking about time zones when we were very specifically going through some of Mercator's work yesterday, right, Brian?
Yeah, he's an idiot. But this is just
focus on just get a handle on Brian. Focus on the Mercator bit, not on the Xander idiot bit.
Well, what do you want me to tell you?
Just say yeah. Just say yeah. We were looking at Mercator. There's nothing to expand on.
Yeah, okay. They said that they didn't know anything about longitude until after the 1700s. Yes, longitude is on all the maps before it. Mercator's maps from the 1500s have longitude on it. They said that they couldn't deal with longitude then until they got a chronometer. Yet there was perfectly good Swiss watches for hundreds of years, a couple of hundred years before that, or something. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
It's like it's a whole story. Adam lays it out better than I do. The whole story is a complete and utter joke. Kepler couldn't have created his analemma unless the latitude and longitude grid already existed. But these people don't give any thought to any of this. Bozos like this guy on the video just come out with claims. Just empty claims from another empty bozo.
Yeah, fine. So we're back to the point where I can press play, basically.
Bashing this guy.
Back to being able to press play, because he's asserting time zones as a baseless assertion. So we're back on track.
The horizon and how things work on it. I lived on the wall.
The horizon and how things work on it, besides being a sentence fragment, no, the horizon's horizontal. It's used to reference a flat plane. So given that all horizontals are parallel with it, I'm going to say the horizon doesn't prove a damn thing for you on a ball that you say you are on.
No, in fact, it proves the flat Earth, because you can't have a horizon on a globetard. So it's a little bit more deadly than that.
Precisely.
water, so I've seen a lot of things disappear over horizons. I know that's real.
And you're going to link that to
Welcome to Flat Earth.
Yeah, well, not necessarily, but the
Yeah,
horizon
necessarily.
Well, yeah, he said
Yes,
horizon in the
necessarily.
statement, so yes. But no, he hasn't linked it. This is, unless it's followed in the next section with
this is Wiki parroting surface puke. That's all this is. We're used to it.
Yeah.
I'm pretty certain, even with my own terrestrial observations, the Earth is round, right? However, the flat...
No, you've just made a base... That's why I was hesitant to do it until he didn't actually make a connection to his original assertion. You've seen things disappearing into the distance, you know that's real. And based on your terrestrial observations, it sounds like you're inserting extra long words to make yourself sound smart here. According to what you've looked at, but you've already said that Earth is round. Well, that just becomes a baseless assertion. You're not connecting the two things together, are you?
Flat Earth community,
Sorry,
in
Nathan.
parallel...
Go ahead.
Was someone ever going to say that up the black swan?
Oh, we'll get there.
The horizon is not the leading geometric edge of a sphere. Even within their own maths, it's not something, it's only optical. It's not something that you can sail over. It's like, why is no one saying that? I don't get this.
No, I'll do it right now.
Why did you not say that? Why did...
I'm not very frosty. You don't want to highlight your own failings and shortcomings because then you sound pathetic if you're e-begging at the time. So I don't want to do that. But I'm just not on top of things, Brian. More than anything, I'm focusing on a huge amount of pain in my head. So I'm just finding it difficult to concentrate. That's all that is. Yeah, if the Earth is a sphere, or was a sphere, with a radius of 3959 miles, then every distance to horizon measurement can be no more than 1.2 times the square root of the observer's height in feet, as laid down in the Earth curve mathematics. Distance to horizon in the black swan is beyond the geometric limitations at 1.2 times the square root of the observer's height in feet, as per the Earth curve mathematics. Therefore, the Earth is not a sphere, and the horizon is not Earth curve. Debunked 2020. That is a perfectly delivered, although I did have some extra interjections about Earth curve mathematics in the calculation, but a pretty good, pretty concise summary of the black swan argument, a modus tollens logical consistency that debunks Earth curve and Earth sphericity. That's it. It's done. 2020. Black swan. Excellent, Brian. Yes, I'm glad you're here.
Nathan, we're hearing people parroting what they heard from somebody else from another YouTube channel or something. And as you said, if you type in flat Earth, you're going to get controlled opposition. But when you hear a guy say time zones prove the Earth is a globe or round, and then he says, I've lived on the ocean plenty of times. I've seen things disappear over the horizon. You mean like the sun, right? So that's going over a curve to you? You know, I've seen a mountain disappear as I drive away from it. Oh, yeah, that's over Earth curve. And then you bring in the black swan, and their Earth curve isn't where it's supposed to be. So forget Earth curve. But they're under this constant indoctrination from false narratives about optical things is always related to a globe or something curving away from you. At the same time, the sextant doesn't work that way. The Osborne firefinder doesn't work that way. Maps don't work that way. And they're just oblivious to all this. And so we're fighting a bigger foe than someone who's just parroting. This is a condition of indoctrination where they're associating something not true with something visible. And they're saying, see, that proves a globe. But they're not thinking it out, as Brian said.
It's not they're thinking it out, they're not spelling it out. Let me just address that. They're not spelling it out in terms of it being a logical consistency. They're not. It's a baseless assertion. It's not actually baseless assertion. I keep saying that. It's a non sequitur fallacy. Say, I see things disappear and I know Earth's a sphere. You're like, well, how are you linking these two things together? There's no logical consistency in it. Now, we know where they would draw the logical consistency from, as in they'd take it from the Earth curve mathematics. Now, he's not saying that, though, is he? He's just stuffing these two things together. Go ahead, John.
Appear and sphere rhyme.
Yeah.
I mean, how much more logical consistency do you need than that? Like, that's just spot on.
Appearance via rhyme. In the words of Arnold Rimmer, I think there's something that we all have to bring to this conversation, John, but I think the thing you should bring is silence.
Hey, John, how you doing?
Yeah, John was just pointing out the level of evidence this guy has.
Oh, sorry. Oh, now I get it. Thank you, Brian. I'll take all of that back, John. I am so rude and stupid. Yeah, you're saying, here's an example of a non sequitur fallacy. God, I'm stupid and rude. So sorry, Brian. Thank you, Brian. Sorry, John.
I think I'm not getting my point across. I'm trying to define the situation when we talk about this with people who've been indoctrinated from birth. They're not connecting the dots. And by us doing what we're doing, it's caught if they take a minute to think about it and say, well, you're an elevation angle. That can't work on it. They never go there. They never can even let that truth hit them. It's because you have another layer of fear because it's painted as a conspiracy theory or it's archaic. So they can't even entertain investigation of the detailed arguments we give because they're afraid of what their fellow man will say to them.
A bit behind the curve there, Tent.
If you say the words elevation angles to like random Joe on the street, their eyes are just going to glaze over.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They have no idea what that is. And look how flippantly the guy said that before. Oh, I've definitely seen things disappear at distance, so Earth's definitely round. And that's what you were talking about, that indoctrination. They've brainwashed everyone into thinking because you see that effect, therefore Earth is a globe. It would be so simple to tell them, well, if that same effect can happen over a flat plane, does it then prove that it's on a globe? No. Okay, thanks. Argument done. And normal people sometimes can't understand that. I've had that conversation with people, but when you go to elevation angle and celestial navigation, people don't know what the hell that is.
That's not.
You know what I mean?
Stop it. Stop it.
Eli, are you talking to us? Are you telling us to stop it, or are you just hot micing, or you tell everyone on the panel to stop it?
Sorry, talking to my cats.
Yeah, I thought so. Yes, thank you, Chocolate. Yes, indeed.
Somebody told me to stop.
Can we just acknowledge? Hold on, Eli.
Hold
on. Yes, Chocolate, absolutely. Sorry, now John's QE's piped up. Go ahead, QE.
Oh, brother.
Well, that was really. Thank you. Your interjection.
You're welcome. Talking to my cat. My God.
Thank you for the colour commentary. 97 people watching live.
You're welcome.
Let's see if we can get it up to 100. Please share the show if you've not done so already. This has been a fantastic show, ram-packed with flat Earth evidence. New flat Earth evidence on this show. So, not often. These things don't come along very often. Normally, once a year, we'll get a top quality proof. In the last 12 months, there's been 3. 3. We've gone from telling people at the start of the year, you need to start on the front foot. You need to start telling people Earth's measured flat. We've gone from that to the the pitch data, and now the Osborne firefinder, all in the space of 12 months. So like buses, you're waiting around forever, 1 a year, and then 3 come along at once in 2024. So no wonder we are heavily suppressed. This show should have 500 people, 1,000 people, 5,000 people watching, struggling to get 100 with almost everyone on the show sharing it. Nevertheless, please share the show, and I am very grateful to all of you who do smash the share button. I'm nearly done with my call to action. I know you're keen in G+. Go ahead.
That's actually what I wanted to point out. The arguments have come quicker. We have the pitch data and the presentation that Huey, Adam, and Brian did. We have this presentation this morning that 10th Man did. And I couldn't help but notice that we're not talking about it, and it's like the greatest thing since like bread again, and it's like not only has the engagement from the ballers become less and less, but it's like we move on because we're like, yeah, of course it's flat, no duh. Yeah, that's cool, man. Cool, it's flat. We do that. You know, did did Q even get to hear the presentation? Do you know what we're talking about?
I can't really make out. I'm only making out about 40% of what you're saying because Mike's a complete train wreck. But yes.
Oh, why didn't you say that?
Why did you, I listened to QE's show the other night. He told you 6 times. What do you want?
Oh, I thought you meant now. Sorry.
No,
I
it
meant,
is. Yeah, it's probably just reception area. It's just it gets painful after about a minute. The first minute's tolerable because I can just about decipher it with 40% legibility or intelligibility. Anyway, let's move on. We're in the middle of responding to this Xander guy.
Well, with other far-right conspiracy, anti-information movements, has blown up in recent years.
Sorry, did he just categorize this as anti-information?
Yeah, he's
he categorizes as far right, which is kind of funny.
We cover the Osborne firefinder today, based on the name of the channel. Let's go and have a look. I'm really sorry, this is not slick. Where is it?
I'm a pinko lefty, by the way.
Hold on.
I'm a pinko lefty.
Follow My Leap. That is the name of the channel, right? He's a guy that's literally keeping lives safe by observing where these fires break out. Yet this guy is telling us that we're covering the same thing. We're just covering it in more detail than he did in his shorts video. But we're what? Part of some disinformation structure. How dare he? No, we tell people how Earth's measured. There's no controversy in what we say. There's no debate about what we say. It's measured flat. These are facts. Uncontestable facts. Is it incontestable or uncontestable?
And apparently, but not really, it's just the grift, you guys know how Candace is. Apparently, Candace Owens, the character she plays, is...
We know how Candace Owens is. Actually, no. I have no idea how Candace Owens is. Are you projecting your infatuation with this woman onto me? No, I have no idea
Nathan,
what she's like.
No,
Go on.
Nathan, he said grift. So we do presentations with pitch data, today's black swan, everything. We do measurements, and that's grift?
No, they're just measurements.
Yes, see, this guy is already, basically with what he said, he's already classified himself as a quote-unquote lefty. And in my experience, most lefties who classify themselves as that, they're not particularly too interested in facts. So when you said, Nathan, when you said you were dealing in facts, people like this don't really care about that.
Yeah, the Earth can identify however it chooses. We got to leave that on the Earth to decide.
Yep.
We are just going to let this stereotype fallacy from us fly, right? No one's going to say anything.
No, this is my point.
I was going to preface it. Sorry, Tom. I was going to preface it with, I don't mean to stereotype fallacy. That's why I said, in my opinion, most leftists, they're not into facts. But yeah, the way this guy's talking, I've heard this guy before, or the type. So might be a stereotype, but sometimes stereotypes are stereotypes for a reason. Anyway, I'm done.
Yeah, sorry, Chaco. But this is my whole point about what I said earlier. He's what's the word again? Indoctrinated. And if you go against the indoctrination, you're a conspiracy theorist, you're this archaic flat earther, you've got an act of Congress, you've got everything going against measurements. And yet measurements are at the base of all of navigation and mapping. And when we say, no, the measurements are from a plane of reference, and the plane of reference is horizontal, and it's not from a curved surface because you can't get an elevation angle from a curved surface. And we go through all our good arguments based on facts and measurements. These people, like Chaco said, that just flies over their head, their eyes glaze, because the only thing they know is if they ever become a flat earther, they're these crazy people. And so this indoctrination through the media and newspapers and books and all these false flat earth channels, and especially the ones that are going crazy now, controlled opposition, this is what keeps these people in the dark, because it's not that the facts, if they see, will prove it to them. It's the fear of man. How would people think about them if they take this position, even if they can defend it like we do?
That's something I've been touching on recently, actually. People fear change. People are creatures of habit, and they don't want to be exposed to something that's going to change their way of being. So even when people try and remain indifferent to the subject when it's presented to them with a how does this change my life attitude, I've still got to work to go to tomorrow and I'll still have to pay my mortgage, that sort of attitude, I want to lean into that. Like, actually, nothing changes. It always was flat. There's a religion that is based upon those measurements. Now, you can remain a part of that religion and obviously nothing will change. You can become aware of that religion and then decide to, smirk when people describe the religion they're unaware of and go about your daily business knowing how Earth is measured. So,
well,
nothing
this guy, he's never seen Earth curve, but when something disappears over the horizon, he's been indoctrinated that it's because of Earth curve. He knows the properties of water at rest, but because he's been indoctrinated, he thinks beyond the horizon, water actually bends when there's no proof of any of that, but he accepts it.
Is now a flat earther. And while she says she's not here in this quote I'm going to read to you, the second half of the sentence immediately shows, okay, well, no one who isn't a flat earther would say this. This is trying.
Who cares if one person is or is not a flat earther? Who cares? This is what...
If your entire...
Go on.
I thought you were asking a question. If your entire reality is built on consensus, one person disagreeing can be highly destructive.
Yeah, it's sad, isn't it? But
this guy, this guy doesn't know that he's a flat earther because he needs a flat Earth for his globe.
Yeah, but Brian's always, where I was trying to get that to lead to, and I can't segue very well today, is Brian's assertion when they attack us personally, right? It's like, this is an immediate attack on Candace Owens for being a flat earther. It's using the flat earth label as the attack. Yeah? It's like, okay, so you're going to immediately attack her and her person rather than any of the necessary, surrounding information that she might or might not be purveying. It's just her and what she now stands for. It's like, it gives a toss. But as I'm not going to ask you to repeat yourself refracting curvature. Absolutely. In a consensus world, one person disagreeing actually has, if she has some influence, she's an influencer. How dare she disagree with my consensus viewpoint, right?
But it's worse than that, because Candace Owens is very influential, and she's becoming more and more and more influential, because she's literally exposing mainstream media for being completely corrupt in a way no one ever was able to do, ever. And her, no, she's never said she's a flat earther. I hear her talking about globe stuff regular. Actually, I end up face spamming, right? But, so she's not claiming to be a flat earther. I don't think she is a flat earther. She may be in the future say that, but I haven't heard her say that. Right? She generally said that other people are calling her flat earther because she's calling out NASA's nonsense. right? So suddenly she's a flat earther. That's their way of trying to shame her away from calling out the likes of NASA. And she's also a conservative. And this guy, there's an election coming up, and this guy has an issue with conservatives because he's on the left, and so he wants to shame all these conservatives into, you're going to be a flat earther if you're a conservative, so you better vote for whoever or be on my side, so everyone can be woke or whatever. Do you know what I mean?
He basically says like the same thing, according to him. It's like just being a flat earther is being a conservative. In a sense, that's bad. So is being a flat earther.
There's something more to this. It's more psychological because he's trying to shame anyone, including Candace, for even referencing it. Because the minute you say, hey, remember that guy, Joe? Yeah, Joe, yeah, successful businessman, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. You know he's a flat earther now? No. How could he be I thought he was a smart guy. You see, it's just used for shame. And that's the way it's portrayed to all these ballers who are still in the cave thinking the shadows are real. Someone says, no, this is where it's at. All of a sudden, that smart guy that they sought advice from, where their friends were barbecuing together, is no longer have any credit because the consensus worldview has done a great job of indoctrinating people from critical thinking, discernment, and investigation. Because if you even look into that, you're one of them.
I've literally heard that. Like, since I became a flat earther, there are a couple of people that have been in my life that have said, bro, you make so much sense with everything you say. How can you be involved in this particular thing? Everything else you say is great, but this, and they can't understand it.
Right, 101 people watching. Thank you again to all the people who smashed the share button. Please share the show if you've not done so already, and a very warm welcome to all of you who've joined because people have shared the show. Shout out to TJ Bowman. There are conservatives who think FE is left-wing too. It's associated with stupidity, like 72 genders. Thank you for the super chat. Really appreciate the support. 104 people watching. Someone obviously shared the show while I was doing that call out. Please share the show if you've not done so already.
And with appeal to flatter.
No, we're doing a bit more of this video.
Candace Owens. I am not a flat earther. I'm not a round earther. Actually, what I am is I am somebody who has left the cult of science. All right.
Oh, she's in a category error too. Yeah? Cult of science. Science is empirical. There is no cult of science. It's a method. Reification fallacy on the part of Candace Owens.
Everybody. I'm going to show you guys this.
Sorry, Nathan.
No, good.
I personally tried to contact Candace Owens concerning that issue and to try and educate her on it, and it was impossible to get in contact with her.
No, it's not. You just haven't got the $100 for the super chat that she likes to get.
I'm not paying. I'm not paying to inform her about how to not embarrass herself. I'm not going to do that. You know what I mean?
Deep
End of
state.
story. You're a genius.
But you wouldn't be paying her. You wouldn't be paying her for that. You wouldn't be paying for her for that. I mean, for God's sakes, if you've ever eaten candy, I mean, how many bucks can you put into that? And that's gone, right? Like, you're doing this because you want her not to say that to her big audience. That's more than worth $100 to me if she's gonna stop saying it.
If you've ever eaten Candice, what the hell are you talking about?
Probably smoking weed.
Oh crap! Freudian slip.
I'm on a few
Freudian
painkillers.
slip on the table.
Am I hearing things?
Candy, like, I'm sure you spent $100 on sweets, right?
Me?
Wasn't
I'm
I talking to
completely
Brian?
confused. Why am I being asked this question? I've got to take control. Either I'm tripping out or something very wrong is going on.
Yeah, the tablet's having an effect on you, Nathan. I've noticed that now since the start of the show. You're not really with it.
I'm not. I know I'm not.
Which is fine. I was just telling Brian.
Okay, I'll play along like this is normal. Yeah, I have bought $100 worth of candy. Of course, that's
He
the
was
normal subject we
talking
talk
to
about
me.
here.
He's after telling you that twice.
Nathan, take 5 minutes off.
Can we move on?
I think we should stay here.
Let's move on.
This clip. This is from back in July. And it's a bit old now, back in July, but the relevant continuation of this story is much more recent.
Elijah, don't move.
All right.
My poor husband, he rolls over. He's like, "What are you reading?" And I feel like a regular.
Ugh, man, this guy has got 91,000 subscribers, and he can't figure out how to lower the gain on a video he's playing. Yeah, I just whack it right up against the limiter, I would. Let's square off every single wave.
Wife says something, I don't know, maybe a love series.
I can't do it, man. I can't deal with pain in my teeth and distorted audio. One man can only take so much. Right, shout out to Roger Ledwell for the super chat. He says,
Just turn the sound down. Sorry.
No. I'll educate you in a moment. Local is not exclusive to one place, says Roger Ledwell. I'm in La La Land. What do you mean local's not exclusive to one place? It's local to me. Where is
Everyone has a local.
Like locally flat.
Oh, not one. Yeah, okay. Everyone can have a local. Therefore, everyone's got a local. Therefore, it's lots of places. Is that what you're saying? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Do you want me to go through the video?
Yeah. Nathan
No, it's that audience. The vultures are circling. They sense weakness. 107 watching. Smash that share button.
Roberts sweeping her.
I'm reading crazy things on social media. Oh, I'm so quirky and weird.
Away.
Why is this guy's malfunction? Why is he doing an imitating voice and parodying what she's just told us? Just criticize her if you've got criticism.
Because that's because what media does. So because people watch media, this is how he speaks, because that's how they speak.
When you say media, do you mean like
for a serious topic?
You took in Fox News and so forth?
Yeah, all of it. Yeah.
Fine.
Me, on the other hand, he rolled over, he asked me, and I said, "Oh, I'm reading a flat earth theory." And it dawned into an entire conversation. He's like, why are you reading a flat earth theory? And I'm like, because somebody messaged me on Manect about it, and they included some links, and I'm just reading them. I don't know. I'm just an interested person, no matter.
We have gone through this video on multiple occasions, in case anybody's wondering why I'm not pointing out the category errors and so forth.
What? If there's a bunch of people that believe something, I now want to know what it is that they believe.
1 second, Nathan.
Yeah, well, just before you go, Brian. Yeah, did you hear that, mate? What's his name again? Xander something? She's heard that people are interested in it, so she's looking into it. She's a bleeding journalist. Yeah, so she's not ascribing herself to it. She's not aligning herself with anything. Bloody hellfire. This guy's stupid, isn't he? Go ahead, Brian.
Yeah.
Yeah, just so this guy realizes we here, Candace is talking about people who may have beliefs, but we here do not have belief. We absolutely 100%, 100 million billion % know the Earth is a flat stationary plane.
No,
and
for sure.
All your nonsense, 100%.
For sure, and without a doubt.
Without a doubt. Absolutely. And all the nonsense that he thinks is proof for a globe all originates with a flat Earth anyway. And I can bring it back to the origins of every single bit of it, and all starts with a flat plane. He's a bozo.
And of course, he pushed me on this, and he was talking about the Earth curvature and science. And I said to him, listen, I'm not a flat earther. I'm not a round earther. Actually, what I am is I am somebody who has left the cult of science. I have left the mega church of science.
The mega church of science. You know, using terms like cult and mega church as insults in reference to science is like really funny.
Funny? Like funny ha-ha?
Share your
Go ahead, chocolate.
share your pain, buddy. Share your pain.
Right, you want to agree with him, but he's not drawing a conclusion to his point. Now, if we were making a critique of what he's saying, it would run along the lines of Candace doesn't understand that science is a method for proving things. Therefore, to say that she's detaching herself from a church of method of proving things is illogical and stupid, and means she doesn't understand what science is. But he's not attacking it from that angle. He's saying, no, Candace should be part of this church of science, but I'm going to attack how she's demeaning it as being some sort of church. That's where he's going to go. Neither of them know what science is. Let's just get that clear.
That's where I was going. He's just proven that he hasn't got a clue about what natural science is. Because if he did, he wouldn't be making that particular critique. He'd be educating her.
Exactly.
He doesn't know.
Exactly. He'd be critiquing her and correcting her, but instead it's funny.
Because that's...
Right, but on the understanding they do have of science as whatever it is, because they probably think it's the same thing, like math and numbers. That is a cult that people have joined.
Hold on, 10th. Please can you go on mute, 10th? Thanks. Sorry, one more time, John.
When they say science, they're not thinking of an empirical method. They're thinking of math. When they say science, they think math. They're talking about the same thing. It's just not science.
Yeah, Candace is really not articulate well yet. She's really trying to say pseudoscience, but she doesn't know that yet. The other guy is in pseudoscience, but is pretending he's got real science.
I'm sorry.
Unfortunately, I'm sorry. She's not. You can't be saying something you're not.
It's just terrible grammar from 10th. Candice is not articulate well. That was a terrible piece of grammar to suggest that she's not articulating things well. Just contextually.
No, I said, it's not just about grammar. I mean, he's insinuating that she. Well, shit. He's the one that got what I'm saying not on point, and I'm trying to make the point.
God. Can we move on?
Not yet.
For God's sake.
Candace Owens is Dave White. I'm not at this moment. I don't care who she will be. At this moment, she thinks like that. That's it. It is what it is.
She's not Dave Weiss. She's just some woman that's come across the... She's just... none of you watch Deception Detective. Just take...
She's much more attractive than Dave Weiss.
Just take what she says to mean what she says. That's it. So when she says, I've come across the subject, my husband was looking into a flat earth quote theory, category error. Okay, but let's not address that. So she's looking into it as a journalist. Now, I'm adding in that line, but that's what she is. That is it. There's no lines to read between here.
I wasn't reading any lines. I'm not reading any lines, but the last few years, everybody's telling us trust the science on many things. And she says, you know what? I don't trust the science because they're lying to us. And so she's coming from that point of reference is all I'm saying. But when she realizes that all these people who said trust the science, as we have said on the show, are stealing the valor of real science and saying it's science when it's not, it's pseudoscience, she's actually in a good place because she's doubting anyone who says trust the science. But she doesn't know that you could trust the science if it's real science.
Yeah, okay, I'll accept that. Take him. Hey, Flatsy.
Hola.
Like mega churches are bad. Like, are conservative pundits now all of a sudden opposed to faith and mega churches?
No, that wasn't the comparison she was drawing. the comparison was that there was a mega church of science. Now, obviously, we'd critique that as being a category error, but her point is to say that the notions, the pseudoscience, as just detailed by 10th Man, she wants to detach herself from, and the comparison terminology she's using is megachurch for that idea of, in this case, if we want to pigeonhole her, but I'd have to do so to make it concise, concisely described as heliocentrism, if you will. Now, she's saying I'm not a flat earther or a round earther, but I don't like the lies of quote-unquote science in a category error.
Because, no, they're not. I can tell you they're not. I can tell you Candace Owens is not actually opposed to faith and mega churches.
Can you? You got that little crystal ball with Candace name on it, have you? You can tell us that.
And yet, conservatives and Christians...
Go on.
Go on. No, I'm just saying he can point out she's a Catholic.
Christians love to use those
stereotyping fallacy to follow
as accusations of why science is bad.
That's what Christians do, is it? Stereotyping fallacy. Science being bad in the eyes of a stereotyped Christian is irrelevant and a category error again. It's not good or bad, right? It's a method.
I'm pretty sure the actual Christian doctrine on this is science falsely called.
That's the one.
So,
science falsely called. I like that. Yeah. Falsely named, falsely called. Yeah. Science in name only, because it isn't science. It's pseudoscience. 10th did a good job of expanding on that exact fact.
Things that they admit are true of religion. Why do they try to compare science to religion to make it look bad if they are trying to defend religion?
That's not what happened.
No.
It's a cult. It's a cult of deception, and all cults deceive. That's what she's comparing it to.
Yeah, if only she wasn't using the word science, we could align with her, but we can't.
It's so bizarre. It's because they can't.
Say again?
That's where I was trying to say. If she only knew, she would have corrected herself and said pseudoscience and had a demarcation between the real thing versus the hijacked version of it.
Yeah, because when we're in the correct context, we can call it the priesthood. We do. But you have to have that distinguishment between what is actually science and what is peddled as being science to steal the valor of the method that is empirical. The scientific method is empirical. But when people say words like theory, in this case attributed to Flat Earth by Candace, or the guy previous, Xander, saying, I'm not a scientist, it's like you're about to offer up information that has no relevance to science and the scientific method. Therefore, you're in a category error. Therefore, you're demonstrating you don't know what science is, and so is Candace. But for the fact that she's using that word, we could align with her. And all her comparisons, which are perfectly adequate. It is a priesthood. The people who use the terms of science, which is why she's detaching herself from it, are nothing more than priests. Cox and Tyson are priests. That's what they are.
Can't argue. Candace Owens is a full through and through grifter too, so she's not even actually good at arguing for the right's positions, but what she...
Hold on, now I need an example of how she's deceived people for money if she's going to be claiming to be a grifter. Like we expose Whitsitt as lying in an arena.
Hang on.
Go on.
Hang on. Is this Jiren's brother?
I don't know.
It must be, because that's what he said you were.
What, a grifter? Well, it's just like...
Yeah, remember, you're a scammer, you're a grifter, you're taking... But they're just projecting who they are because they got the paywalls and they got the nonsense. This guy's projecting. He's the grifter.
It's the same programming. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's Kim Hopkins?
Platsy.
She is good at is appealing to the right. And to be fair, a lot of it is her race. Like, a lot of it is the fact she's a, like...
Go ahead.
Yeah, I couldn't get in there before he pressed play. No, he just said she's not even good at arguing for whatever she argues for. She's excellent at arguing for it. She wins debates left, right, and centre. Takes people at power. To say that's a complete and utter lie. She destroyed this guy. And he wants to bring up, she destroyed him.
What does race got to do with it?
I don't know. That's what he's bringing up next.
Let's see where he goes with this seemingly racist remark.
Very far right, willing to say the craziest bullshit imaginable black woman. That is a lot of it, like legitimately. When you hear conservatives, like,
I mean, when you stereotype it for her being black, that is just racist.
This is like reviewing a tabloid article.
Terrible, isn't it?
Yeah. It is so horrible. I am so offended.
Are we all done with this?
Yeah, he's terrible.
It is awful. Nevertheless, we have covered his video, and we would hope to help him along in the YouTube algorithmic love that we so sorely desire but do not receive. This guy, on the other hand, bigger than us, 93,000 subscribers, 91,000 subscribers, sorry. Please let him know. Its name is Xander Hull, and the video we've covered is called Andis. It's my tongue not being able to wrap its way around my mouth correctly. Try that one more time. Candace Owens proves the anti-woke to flat earth pipeline is real. So please let him know at Nathan Oakley 1980. Sent me with a polite comment. Do not swear. Do not get yourself immediately removed by the YouTube bots or the YouTube videographer himself. When you leave him a comment that says @Nathan Oakley 1980, all one word, sent me. And just let him know that we've responded to his video remarks with respect to Candace Owens being a flat earther and other non-science related subjects that were covered. So yeah, please let him know. Leave a comment. Hopefully polite. And I do mean that sincerely. If you're in the live stream now, there's 104 of you watching live currently. Do actually pop along to Xander Hall's video and let him know that Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me. Hopefully he'd do the same for me if he did respond. Any other further remarks before we do actually round out and ask people to stay tuned for the after show?
Just in case this guy ever actually listens to this, just to let him know, like maybe step your game up, because the ground that we live on, that we measure flat, it's not left or right. It's just measured flat. Okay, buddy? Thanks.
But it is measured flat left to right.
Touche.
Yeah, everything's running parallel with the horizon. With that, I'm going to say if you are watching this on either Nathan Oakley 1980 or Nathan Oakley premiering streams, then stay tuned as there will be an after show to follow.
Babysitting all morning. A little tired. That's about it.
You're hot, Mike and bro.
Like fun to me.
As far as that's concerned, people are moving from genocide to genocide. So
Are you sure it's not because you're black?
That's a really funny one. I didn't get to tell you how funny that joke was, by the way.
He's not black. Chocolate's black.
No, I meant his cat.
Who said chocolate's black?
I understand what you meant, Eli. From the frying pan into the fire kind of thing.
Who's going from the frying pan into the fire? Candace Owens?
No.
A lot of people who think that the whole world is going to be saved. Their whole world is going to be saved by Donald Trump when Donald Trump supports things that
Oh, God. Please, somebody change the topic.
My God, are we not allowed to just say something to keep the conversation going? You come up with something then.
Keep the conversation going, something
Sounds like Huey is fed up. FED, fed up with this topic.
No, the evidence is clear. By detracting from talking about Donald Trump, he's clearly a Kamala supporter.
You woke bastard.
Well, John, he shut down Trump. Did you hear? He's obviously Kamala. Huey, did you hear 10th Man's presentation?
I just got the tail end.
How about everybody in Discord? Are there any ballers out there? I didn't hear any of it.
Okay, so at the beginning of the live stream, 10th Man went through the Osborne firefinder. That's why I was going a bit nuts, telling everyone to share constantly, because there's a really top-end presentation of a new flat Earth proof. to check it
Can
out.
you give me a quick synopsis of it, Nathan?
Yeah, they use the principles that we would describe in celestial navigation, but only with the respect to the horizontal plane, that their viewfinder will let them see where, with specific detailed measurements, a fire is from a tower, from a watchtower. So there's a specific instrument that is used to actually track where the fire is.
So they're measuring distances.
Basically.
Welcome to Flat Earth.
Yep, you've got it. It is that simple. But it's a practical application that's life or death in terms of what the implications, if it's not done, are, and if it's not accurate, more importantly.
Still waiting for the globe to be used in some sort of practical application.
There aren't any.
That would be nice. Like
There aren't
10
any.
years.
There aren't any.
Still waiting though.
Describing retrograde motion and having that as their tool to say where the stars will be at given times. That's it. That's its purpose. That's what it's been designed to do.
That's incorrect, Nathan. All astronomy refer to the vernal equinox, which creates a massive stationary plane and a moving celestial bodies. So no, that's a load of rubbish.
That's the purpose of the heliocentric extrapolation.
No, that's what you're told is the purpose of it. It's not really the purpose of it. If that was what if the globe was better for that, then why are they not using a globe in astronomy?
Fine, I'll make the correction.
I've made that point to you before, and you just won't stop. We will not stop with this Easter nonsense, will you? Some book said Easter or something. Some baller wrote a book, and it said something about Easter in it. And now it's Easter. Everything is Easter. Easter, 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 Easter. No, astronomy don't use a globe. They use a flat, massive flat stationary plane with moving celestial bodies. So how has that got anything to do with a globe and Easter?
Deriving elliptical motion and squaring the circle of retrograde motion, as it's now known, formerly.
What elliptical motion?
The one that's derived by Kepler after the fact. So at the behest of the church, they want that predictive system.
Elliptical orbits.
Yeah, that's what he's putting into the system.
There is no such thing.
I know there isn't. You're critiquing me like I don't know that there isn't such a beast and it's derived from flat plane measurements. It's not like I don't know that. And I should put in the caveat that this is what's being told to the public in terms of why it's been derived. Or I could say that it's what's commissioned by the church in the case of Kepler. You know, what's the purpose? What are they trying to achieve? What's the outcome? Why do they want it? Now you're saying, well, okay, that might be the narrative that's given out. Yeah, I'll agree with that. You're saying it's not the purpose. Well, it doesn't. I can't give you the timeline of how we've got that specifically with Kepler specifically, and now us standing on a frigging ball. It could only be that the one is connected to the other as we've ended up at this place, but it might not necessarily, and I can't show any connections through history. Neither can Adam, neither can you. So I can't infer either way. But in terms of the rhetoric that's given to the public, or the purpose that the church has in terms of why they want any amendments to be made to have what is essentially controlled entirely by them, right? The church is controlling all astronomy, isn't it? So it's them that's doing it. It's them that are commissioning it. It's them that wants to get Kepler's take on it, and his out-of-the-box thinking results in what they describe, incorrectly so because it's derived from flat plane measurements in the first instance, and elliptical motion. Well, that ends up giving us a better description of how the lights are going to line up for retrograde motion. But that is literally, that's its the question started with what's its practical application. So if you say, well, it hasn't got one, well, why would they bother doing it? They're trying to better describe how the stars move. That's it. That's what they're trying to achieve. Now you're like, well, you focus a lot on Easter. Well, okay, I'll lay into that. Moreover, because I know that there's a lot of people that can relate to it because it's a familiar word and a familiar celebration. So I'm just trying to, tie it to something that the audience can relate to. I know you don't like it.
You're promoting a globe incorrectly.
I'm not.
Yeah, you are.
I'm not
the globe is
promoting
great
it.
for this thing. That's what you're saying.
Okay. What you're saying is I'm putting it on a bit of a pedestal in terms of what it can achieve. I'm putting it on a bit of a pedestal. Is that what you're suggesting? You
What
wouldn't
I'm
be
saying
wrong.
is you're stating stuff that came from a book written by a total baller. He can only describe it one way because he doesn't know any different.
Okay.
No, never mind.
No,
I
I take it on board. Absolutely.
What's the claim? Nathan, what's your claim?
I haven't got one. In this instance, Brian's right. Who cares what the narrative is from the church onwards? What we know is what's being used, and that's flat plane measurements. So who cares? In many ways, Brian's right. Why am I leaning into it? It's not necessary.
It provides a little background. If the church commissioned Kepler to find out when Easter was, it's some good background, and then jack 'em yard right after that.
I think I'm more agreeing with Brian now. He's laying it out to me. It's like, so what? Is that even true? Can I validate that? While I've repeated it, Brian is right. I've got it from a book and I'm just repeating it. Sun in the Church is the book, if you want to check it out for yourself. In any event, can I go through history and validate that? No. Same as, I even said at the beginning of the live show that we were talking about Mercator, but most of the stuff that we discussed would never make it to a live show. We vaguely hinted about some of the subject matters as headlines. Brian did an excellent job of summarising it and keeping it vague. But ultimately, it's like, can we validate any of this stuff? Not really. Well, maybe we could. We haven't. So why discuss it?
It's interesting. Like I said, it provides a little background, but you just jack it yard. You don't have to go into any great depth. What book did you get it from?
The book's called The Sun in the Church. It was actually Dr. John D that posted it to me.
Okay. I don't see a big problem with it. Just don't hang around it all day long. It's not the point.
But that's what Brian's moaning about. He's basically saying, look, you were always leaning into this. I'm like, yeah, you're right, I do. I also thought he was criticising me for putting the heliocentric model in that regard on a bit of a pedestal. And in the same regard, I do. It's one of those things that you go, in terms of out-of-box thinking, you go, you got to hand it to Kepler. Right? That's pretty out there. If you were where Kepler was in terms of what the mathematics were and how they were being used to describe it at the point that Kepler puts his 2 pennyworth in, it's pretty out of the box thinking, in my opinion. Now, I've got an admiration for that because it's something I feel like I would be lacking if I was in that time. Could I come up with that? When people come up with new stuff, I'm always like, that's so cool. It's like
Nathan,
go on.
Nathan, there's plenty of evidence that backs what you're doing, but like John said, it's just a sidebar to what the real discovery and argument is. Matteo Ricci, a Jesuit priest, in the 1800s, goes to China, and his leading talking points, so to speak, is the new way of navigating in the heliocentric system. So he takes it to the Chinese, who have been navigating, thinking the Earth is flat, knowing the Earth is flat, having the Chinese starboard, and the stars moving, the Earth stationary. And Admiral Zheng He, magnificent admiral, 7 tremendous voyages documented, vast ocean distances, navigating the Earth with elevation angles using the starboard. So here comes Matteo Ricci saying, yeah, we all thought that way too. This is my summary, but we have a better way. And he introduces heliocentrism to the Chinese. Well, Chinese didn't want anything to do with it because what they had was working. So over time, he got kicked out of the court. Then he came back, but they brought other inventions and technology from Europe. So they mingled their way in eventually. And it wasn't until the late 1800s to early 1900s that all of China finally went heliocentric.
If heliocentrism was good for anything, it wouldn't need a flat plane.
Well, this is the only channel on YouTube that takes it down to that level of understanding. And when Matteo Ricci took the Chinese to heliocentrism, he really left them on the flat plane that they were always navigating on. He just took it to hell.
I don't know how you can navigate with the time zones being all wrong south of the equator. That makes no sense. But obviously, some people think you can.
Yeah, but you see, these are other arguments that destroy the globe. Pitch data included, magnificent, as well as Black Swan, magnificent. And until people get out of just buying what someone tells them and start some critical thinking and not be afraid of what man thinks of them, they'll just stay duped.
Did you want to add something, Patsy?
Yes. I was going to maybe give a little bit. It was like a mind renewal for myself when Indio kind of pointed it out, but it was nice. It's nice to kind of renew your mind sometimes when you're stuck on a way of thinking. And you guys probably already know this, but like they interpret, of course, orbit and elliptical orbits and all of that kind of motion is never actually observed. So they interpret watching an arc in the sky because all they ever see the celestial bodies do is arc, except, say for Polaris. They only see them arc in some way, form, or fashion. So you're only extrapolating a whole orbit and elliptical orbit out of only observing an arc. So that was profound to me. May not be to you guys, but it was for me.
Well, you have one part wrong there, Flat. Well, one part wrong. An apparent arc, not an actual arc. You observe an apparent arc.
Right. Because, yeah. I mean, I agree with you.
That makes it even more ridiculous, doesn't it?
Right, exactly.
The elliptical orbit nonsense comes from Kepler, as he had to back engineer the already known annual sun cycle. He had to back engineer that as opposed to it happening over a flat stationary plane. He had to back engineer that into some kind of a Copernican paradigm. So the Copernican solar system, he had to make that work with the already known sun cycle. And that's where we get the elliptical orbits from. That was the first elliptical orbit, and after that, they start making claims of elliptical orbits left, right, and center without ever being able to come up with an orbit. It all comes from the Copernican solar system and how Kepler took that and amalgamated that with the already known cycle that he got and was taught in astrology, because he was a master astrologer. That's how he learned astronomy. It was through that. Everyone learned astronomy through astrology in his time.
Right, so, he's managed to unify two systems, which to me is pretty clever. I mean, they don't.
Yeah, but
go on.
The point I'm making is the elliptical orbit thing is only a necessity within his analema, because that's the only way he could get it to work. The only way he could get the apparent sun cycle, the yearly sun cycle, to work, or when involving a heliocentric globe, was an offset elliptical orbit and a 23.4 degree tilt of the globe. Otherwise, it can't work.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
But it's very out of the... Would you not agree, though, that's incredibly out-of-the-box thinking? If you're presented with a mathematical problem and that's what you come up with, I think that's clever.
What's an orbit?
Well, it's not that close.
Did he find out when Easter? Did he find out when Easter was?
When ether?
It's not that clever because, as Brian said earlier, it goes by a certain date of the vernal equinox when Earth tilt of 23.4 degrees is non-existent. The Earth is stationary and the stars are moving. And that's how everything is measured. And he had to take that as the basic truth of measurements and then say, how do I make a globe out of this? So he puts you on the arc of a protractor, and that is nothing more than the apparent arc, as Brian just said, perspective view of the inner concave surface of the celestial sphere where the stars are pushed to be on. And so they say, okay, if we live on that arc, we'll retain the same angle as measured from the center of Earth with the equatorial plane, even though the two straight lines get wider and wider from the vertex. It still retains the same angle. They just put you on the arc part of it. But your measurement came from the flat plane. So they're dead once you know. And this is all in their books that we've shown it. So it's like, okay, go ahead and make it work on a pyramid. Who cares? The actual measurement is a flat plane.
When
what day is flat and stationary when you live on a spinning ball? Would that be like a holiday or something?
What was the question?
I think it was a vernal equinox reference. I'm not 100% sure, though.
Sorry, I said, what day would be considered flat and stationary when you live on a spinning ball? What day do you get days?
Well, since you say it that way, none. But what they use to map the stars is the equinox dates, but they only use one of them, the vernal one, not the autumnal. In September, I believe, is the autumnal. But the one in March is the one they use for the vernal equinox. And that's how the EQ mount telescope works and everything else. In fact, that's how everything is mapped. That's when you go to one of those, was it stellarium, or those places where they show the stars in the curved sky, but you're on the flat room. That's the same thing right there.
I think the word you're looking for is planetarium.
Planetarium, thank you. But stellarium does the same thing. It's the same thing. You're on the flat plane, and you got this protractor sky above you, and you just have to read and say, how is it measured? Once you realize it can't be done from a curved surface, ball game over.
I'm sorry, I just found the video. I got it in my recommended. I haven't watched it. It's short, like 5 minutes. It's from Will Duffy concerning Jiren and he's got some type of solution or something for Antarctica trip. You want to do a quick review of this? Bound to be hilarious.
Yeah, sure. Stick it, must be.
There it is.
Hey, back in the saddle this week, thankfully, but I did get my butt kicked last week. I haven't been that sick in years. My voice is starting to come back, though, which means I can keep everyone updated. Hey, today's video is super cool. Have you ever had a situation in your life where someone shares an idea with you and you just can't believe that you didn't think of it yourself? Well, that just happened with me. And the person with the great idea that I should have thought of first was Jiren Campanella. Jiren wants to give everyone the opportunity to feel like you are with us in Antarctica. So he's going to wear a body cam during the trip. He'll record his time in Chile, leading up to our Antarctic flight, and then record our 5 days in Antarctica. And here's the best part. For just $20, as soon as he gets back home from our trip, he will give you a copy of all his body cam footage.
Grifter!
What the hell?
Grifter! Scam artist!
Around 40 hours.
Gosh, where will these people have no shame?
Don't say that too loud. Make them start defending them.
I can one up that. So everyone listening, I will pay for Jiren's footage and then sell it to you for free.
Of total footage in Chile and Antarctica. And that will give you first-person view of the entire trip. Man, why didn't I think of this? Such a great idea. This will be the closest to feeling like you were actually on our trip without being there. I have a link to Jiren's campaign in the description below. Now remember, if you don't...
But Will Duffy is asking, why didn't he think of this grift that Jiren Campanella came up with first?
Donate at least $20, you'll receive a copy of Jiren's body cam footage from the trip. He's going to use a GoPro Hero 12, so the quality will be top notch. And there are a couple other things that I should mention. If you donate $50 or more, Jiren will mail you all of the footage on a USB drive. Some people prefer that as opposed to a download link. And
And if you act in the next 5 minutes, you'll get the 2-for-1 deal for your best friend.
this one is really cool.
Will we get the the body cam footage of when he's in the toilet?
But if you donate $100 or more, you will get your name at the beginning and end of the video with a special personalized thank you to all of those who really helped make
If you're going to grift, make it all caps.
this happen.
Go all the way.
And if all of that is not enough for you, Jiren is also currently talking to one of the world's most famous time-lapse photographers, and they're working together on a rotating camera mount in order to track and film the sun while we are in Antarctica. And so funds raised will help make that project a reality. And that's an important one for both sides, obviously. So don't delay. Head over there and make your donation. I'll be making mine as soon as I end this video. I wanted to give everyone an update on Amarel and Judy. They are still very determined to get married in Antarctica. If you missed that video, I'll have a link to it at the end of this video, so you can just watch that one directly after this one.
Oh, isn't that sweet? Maybe McToon could be a ring bearer.
How much?
This is preparation for Jiren's return back to the globe, huh?
Yep.
Just $49.99, you can get the full wedding video.
Yeah, so there's an interesting factotum about
on DVD in high def.
Yeah. Did you just say preparation? H, maybe?
For $100, you can find out with Jiren that the Earth is a globe. Separation H.
On AI.
Oh, so the interesting thing about the wedding videos is it says, this is the quote from it, "The final experiment has already convinced me the Earth isn't flat." And this guy's going to go there. So he hasn't gone there yet, but he thinks it's already convinced him the Earth isn't flat. And then having realized that, he wants to marry his sweetheart down there.
Okay.
The whole wedding might be in pitch darkness.
But how much would it cost for us to see it?
No. The whole wedding is because of pitch data proving the Earth was flat to get there.
I'm just a little bit confused.
Can I buy a video of the proposal? I want to buy a video of the proposal. Can you send it to
That's
me?
an extra $30. Extra $30.
I'm selling videos of the first wedding night between the bride and groom. I was interested.
Wait, Nathan's confused.
Well, I just remember what my wife wanted from, wedding/honeymoon. And it was akin to an old Lenny Henry sketch when he's talking about going on holiday. He's moaning about how rubbish various different locations are. And he's like, when I want to go on holiday, I want to open the door, beach. I want to open the window, beach. That's what you want. That's what my wife wanted as she walks in, saying what you wanted from a honeymoon. Someone's getting married in Antarctica. So going down, I just look at her, I wish she was on camera. She just turned her nose up, scrumpled her face in a way that said, "I am quite disgusted by that idea." In other words, no, I want cocktails, I want beach. That's what you want, right, hun?
Yeah, but Admiral Byrd said there's hot pockets. Right, Brian? I remember you saying that.
I've had some of those sandwiches, Hot Pockets.
I've heard penguin's quite tasty when you roast it.
Maybe this couple wants penguins.
Does anyone actually believe that this couple are genuine in any way,
No.
shape, or form? Yeah.
Sorry, you questioning me?
Everybody
Sorry,
knows
without
that
having
these
ever
people
met
are a bunch
them,
of frauds.
having never met
That's
I
them,
don't know who they are, but
you're
they're
going to question the
Don't fall
integrity
for
of
the
their relationship.
diversion.
Oh my god, you're going to question the integrity of their relationship having never met them.
Don't question the diversion. They want you to get your eyes off of the scam of them charging you money and grifting. They have to pepper it with a nice love story.
Exactly. Exactly.
Is Will obviously will be down there to marry them then, so he is going because they'll need a priest.
Our crowdfunding.
Are you going to get pitch data from him by chance? You going to ask for that again? I want to do that.
He's been talking to Brian about it recently, Roger. Once he realised the shit had hit the fan, he contacted Brian. Initially, it's like, no, if you admit the azimuthal equidistant projection of a globe will be debunked, then I will address your video or watch it, was his response, like conditional acceptance. Whereas since he subsequently had somebody presumably go to him and go, yeah, they've already got pitch data and it proves that your journey down there is going to be flat. And then he's recontacted Brian.
Oh, that's nice of him. He hasn't recontacted me in a while. He wants me to change my GoFundMe. So I worded it kind of funny, but he didn't like the way it was worded, so he didn't put it on his website.
I'm unfamiliar with your GoFundMe. Familiarise me with your wording, Roger.
My wording is to prevent fraud. And if I don't go to Antarctica, I will give it to the Hurricane Relief Fund. Just in those words.
Raising money to prevent the fraudulent activities of this man on screen now, Will Duffy, with his fraud that he's trying to scam people with, and you're trying to raise awareness of that fraud. I don't see where the problem is. What's the problem exactly?
I don't know. I guess I'm here to find the truth. That's what he wants me to put in it, I guess. And I'll find the truth. It's not really hard to find, but I'm not going to let him rip people off to scam people to present something that's not true.
So let me get him straight. Rather than immediately taking you to court for defamation, he's saying, I'd prefer you didn't highlight my fraud, correct?
Yes.
I see. Yeah. If you were in any way in the wrong claiming fraud for this non-science experiment that it's labelled, making it unequivocally fraud, he'd be taking you to court for defamation of character, because we're calling him, and I am too, a fraudster. And what's his reaction? Can you stop telling people I'm a fraudster, please? That's his reaction.
Yeah, exactly. You nailed it. Yeah.
Fund me. And if you'd like to see an historic...
One more time.
I said scam artist hustler.
Yeah.
Historic TFE wedding while we are in Antarctica, you can donate. Amaral bought Judy a ring, and they want me to let everyone know that if they don't end up making it with us to Antarctica, then all donations will be refunded. Amaral was actually one of Eric Dubé's original Patreons and felt very discouraged when Eric Dubé told him personally that he was not excited about the final experiment. As a reminder, Mark Harmon offered to pay for Eric Dubé to go with us to Antarctica, but Eric Dubé does not seem excited to go to Antarctica at all.
Just out of interest, when Will Duffy offered this from this Mark guy, had Mark put the money in escrow, made absolutely sure that the funds were secured and there was a ticket actually available? No offence to you, Will, but you've got a bit of a shit track record when it comes to actually confirming that these offers of tickets that may or may not exist will come to fruition. You know, you got literally scammed, according to you. It wasn't a scam. Nobody got any money out of you. You just don't know how to identify an actual grift like the one that you're performing when you take money for fraud. Meanwhile, you've been suggesting that you had a ticket available for me when you hadn't even contacted me. We've not spoken ever, literally ever. But here you are peddling the idea that an even bigger name flat earther, in the case of this Eric Dubé, has been offered a ticket that definitely exists. Now I'm going to need to see proof of that, you scamming fraud. I would suggest that you're just using the good name of Eric Dubé to peddle your fraud some more, and that there is no ticket. Why would I say such outrageous scandal? No, it's been proven to be the case once more, with me personally. Now, has my name been removed from this website of this scamming fraud? No. He's using my good name to peddle his fraud some more, and now he's using Eric Dubay with the exact same grift. A grift on top of a fraud. Because he's saying there's a ticket. Where's the ticket? Show me.
Right. And the fraud would be they're going to utilize the plane of reference to travel to a point on the plane of reference where they will observe the sun stay above the plane of reference for 24 hours to prove that there is no plane of reference.
Yeah, total fraud.
Fraud, correct.
Complete fraud. And call it an experiment on top of it to top it all off.
This is a little strange with how much he talks about Antarctica and how at the end of his book, he finishes with flat earthers all over the world.
Don't besmirch Eric Dubay. You are a fraud, Will Duffy. You know, keep Eric's name out of your mouth. What are you doing? All you're doing is scamming people with a fraud claim to be an experiment. It isn't. You're just a scammer. And you're using all these people, including me, and their good name, to peddle your scam. That is all this is. A scam. And what do you know? Jiren's part of the scam. And what do you know? The scam's got experiment in the title. Yeah, if you want to control the opposition, you lead it.
World going to Antarctica. In fact, Eric...
Yeah, go ahead.
Nathan, this video is promoting a scam. This very video we're reviewing now is promoting Jiren making money off a video that he takes in Antarctica. If this is all supposed to be about truth and about what is and facts, why is Jiren charging $20 for a copy of his body cam footage? Yeah. And $50 to get it sent to someone personally via USB stick?
$100 to have your name on his body cam footage. Okay. Yeah. Right. What is this all? At the end of this process, there's going to be potentially hundreds of thousands of dollars raked in through the endeavor. It's just one big, massive scam. That's all it is. It's a big, huge grift. Now,
I got a question.
Heaven forbid that we point out that science proves things and how it would do that. Now, when we did that several months earlier, we were called scammers for it. No, it's because this controlled opposition shill is leading an entire group and community of flat earthers that all believe in ether down to Antarctica by begging the question antipodal assumption that's being ignored and called an experiment. And Jiren's selling the camcorder footage of it happening. Selling the footage of the scam, of the grift. All right, is he turning the camcorder on when he gets on the plane and validating that they actually do travel antipodal from their original starting point? Go ahead, whoever that was from Discord.
That was me. I was going to ask, is this guy actually claiming he was a Patreon of Eric Dubay? And I'd like to see evidence of that, because these guys got a track record of just saying all kinds of stuff, too, without backing it up. And not even checking on their own people that try to fund them. So yeah, I don't think the guy was a Patreon of Eric Dubay to begin with. I think he was making a story up.
I agree. They'll all lie on each other's behalf. I've had apparent people telling me that McToon is informing them that I turned down a trip to Antarctica because Will Duffy had contacted me and I'd said I didn't want to go to Will Duffy, when he and I have literally never communicated with each other beyond a YouTube comment. Literally. So these guys are more than happy to lie on each other's behalf. So this guy saying, well, according to him, he is a former Patreon of Eric, who he spoke to him personally. Oh, yeah. Let's see the conversation between him and Eric Dubay. Let's see if he actually was a Patreon. Probably all bullshit.
Yeah, and McToon's wearing a body cam. That's where Jiren got the idea from. He didn't come up with it on his own. McToon's taking one with him anyways.
Now they're all part of the same grift.
Hold on, friends. Hold on. We're giving undue credit here. So, Homeboy said Jiren's idea. He didn't specifically say he was the only one who had an idea to bring a camera. Maybe he's the only one who had an idea to charge $50.
You're probably right. Tell McToon.
Dubay
He's still like
$15 3 days ago
short.
about Antarctica. And it's surprisingly missing any mention of the 24-hour sun. The video does say that Antarctica is the container that holds in all the water in the world's oceans. So I decided to just make a quick comment on his video, letting him know that if there is a 24-hour sun in Antarctica, then it can't be that container holding in all the water.
Sorry, if sun, then not ground. What the hell's he babbling about? That was the worst non sequitur fallacy claim to be debunking I've ever heard. So, according to the claimant, not me. According to the claimant, not me.
I go around claiming Antarctica is the container all the time.
No, I don't either.
Is he sniffing glue?
According to the claimant.
Does that make sense to you? Antarctica's the container? Think about it.
They're trying to wedge in the face of nonsense that we live on a model, and they're going to hold the model up, and that will debunk the model.
Does Antarctica, stay focused now, Antarctica's the container. Evaluate that statement.
Stupid nonsense.
I've heard people argue that. I've heard flat earthers argue that Antarctica surrounds the Earth and contains the Earth's oceans. It's dumb, but I've heard people argue that.
Yes, it's part of his false dichotomy that the flat Earth side is represented by the azimuthal equidistant globe projection as displayed behind his head in this image. And in that image, he's saying that his claimant is suggesting that the wall around the edge, as per this globe projection, holds in the Earth's oceans. And he's saying, based on this nonsensical, stupid claim that you're making, based on an azimuthal equidistant globe projection, I counter that stupid nonsense by saying, look at the sky, to debunk this bowl. It's stupid non sequitur. Response in rebuttal to a stupid claim in the first instance.
Here was his response to me. Funny, he calls TFE a straw man while simultaneously straw manning me. And notice how his response has nothing to do with my comment. I made a pretty uncontroversial comment.
Are you reading this? Is he reading this? Are you having to script this video? Is he leaning in to read something off the screen on his auto cue?
I don't know.
I merely pointed out
like
if there is...
You made an uncontroversial comment. That what? Huh? What's that mean?
I don't know if he's reading his auto cue correctly.
Is a 24-hour sun in Antarctica, then Antarctica cannot be this container he talks about. Because when he talks about Antarctica holding in all the world's water...
So that's about as non sequitur as your claim, Duffy. Then they're going to check this stupid nonsensical claim. Okay.
He's, of course, referring to the Gleason's map, the AE map,
1 second, Nate.
which has...
Ed.
Just before he carries on, I just figured I should state this. He's capable, him and all of the ballers, everyone else are capable of coming up with, I don't know how many thousands for Elizabeth, the girl Elizabeth to go to Antarctica, right? In a matter of a week or two, loads and loads of money, right? All that's needed, right, for her to go. Now, I told him that, yeah, I'll debate Wolfie if that's what you're looking for me to do. Pay me my €5,000 debate fee. that is caused by Wolfie originally, funnily enough, and due to him wasting my time more than one time, and no response. The response I got was that he has a €5,000 fee to set up the debate that he's trying to ask me to be part of in the first place. That was a nowhere. That was a nowhere and a nothing. So you said that you would host the debate for free, and all Wolfie has to do, and Will Duffy, is come up with the money, and the debate will happen. Not a word. Not a word. Yet they can come up with 30,000 for someone else, but they can't come up with 5,000 for a debate for me and Wolfie.
As Antarctica as an ice ring around the entire known world. Hope everyone is having a great start to your week. I will be back with more this week. Bye for now.
Bye, dumbass.
I'm going to make an uncontroversial comment later.
Go ahead.
I'd like to suggest a title for this: "The Great Continental Grift."
The body cam grift.
Why did he not read out the comments? The comment from him and the comment from Eric Debate. Why not just read them out?
He can't read. Oh, there's a little in the comment section. The carnival show continues. It says that McToon was the first one to come up with the idea, but he's not charging anyone for anything. But Jiren said he came up with the idea, but Jaren's charging. So
Yeah,
he's
so it makes. Sorry.
Jaren's in a fight with all the globetards in the comments section about how he's a grifter.
Yeah, so he makes the flat earther is the grifter. That's what it's all about. Yeah. The flat earther is he's not a flat earther, but the claimed flat earther is now a grifter as well. Proven. Again, do you know what I mean? Like this Jiren guy, he does nothing but causes problems.
That's some epic gaslighting, though, bro. Check this out. So, if the Globe side is offering the footage for free, and somebody who may not have a lot of money, there's like, I'd really like this footage, but I can't trust the Glober, so now I have to pay Jiren. So Jaren's basically preying on the idea that you won't trust the Glober and you'll get it from him, and then there's going to be more drama. So then this is like, I don't know, it's kind of asshole behavior. I have no problem with Jiren saying, "Hey, I'm poor." Let's say if he really was, and he says, "Hey, pay for my camera if you guys want to crowd source. I'll do all the work and I'll give you all the data for free." At least that would be semi-honorable.
Yeah, that'd be absolutely fine. No one would have a problem with that. But Jiren is trying to make money out of a little bit of footage that McToon's going to get anyway. But I think your synopsis is correct. Yeah, that people wouldn't trust McToon, rightly so. But people shouldn't trust Jiren either, especially when he's charging them between 20 and 50 bucks a go.
Is McToon the one that showed that his camera was level by showing his camera was out of level? Is that the one? Is that McToon?
No, that was Fight the Flat Earth with me. A debate on Jose's. He flashed a picture up saying, "See, my camera is level," right? And flashed it, took it away within a second. And someone over on Bev's and what's his name? He's a surveyor. He caught it. He caught it. He went back and caught it and sent me the photo. And it was like his camera with a level, with a little 12-inch spirit level, and it tilted down the way.
Yeah, they're more than happy to lie.
Yeah, they'll all lie for each other, and Jiren is part of them. They all lie in unison. They'll all support each other's lies and rubbish.
I've literally had Jiren tell me that they can acquire tangency for horizontal planes of reference in navigation because Toon told him. Like, so you're going to argue with me about how it can be done ball-shaped. Now, you can't get a tangent from the surface. You can draw a tangent in a model to a ball that you create, and Toon has told you that. But he's literally, Jiren, that is, arguing with me about how Earth can be functionally ball-shaped. You couldn't make it up.
Nope. Hanoi Jiren. That's where he gets his name. Mr. Rocks cause waterfalls.
Unfortunately, the fundamental reference plane, that the tangent plane, the sensible horizon, the bubble sextant plane, horizontal by the spirit level, must match the equatorial plane.
Jiren doesn't even know what a tangent is, for God's sake.
Right, looks like it's all over. With that, I'll say a huge, massive, enormous thank you to both Discord and G Plus panels for making today's after show possible. And of course, a massive thank you to all of you for liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, joining as a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member, letting everybody we promoted in the show know at Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me, and all that good stuff. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I will see you all in the next video.